Did it work? Am I live? I can't tell if it's working. Can't tell if it's working. I think it is. Whoever just joined me, can you hear audio? Oh, I think it is. Cool. All right, it is working. As promised, I'm going to do a little trial run of a video podcast. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I can hear me on my end. Um, yeah, so Kaylee and I finally settled on our house yesterday after a very, very long time coming. So we decided that I was like typing out a story about it, and everyone's always talking about doing the stories. And I was like, I think I might have to do like a video podcast of it. Um, and so, what's up, Christy? So yeah, so we're here. I promised. I'm following through with it. So yes, I'm going to tell you guys the story of how we ended up building the house. So yeah, so we very first all started when we started dating. We both knew that we were both too picky, and I promise I'm not gonna do like a How I Met Your Mother. I won't go for hours and hours and hours, but or seasons and seasons. But yeah, we knew when we first started dating that we were gonna want to build a house. We both were too picky. The original plan was always to get some land. What's up, Isaiah? To get some land, build a house. Be away from people in our own home. So we had some space, could do whatever we wanted, do the four wheelers, do the bonfires, do the fireworks, like that kind of stuff. So we knew early on that that's what we wanted to do. Um, After being there for a little while, like she was living in her house near the high school, I was living in my house near the sports emporium. We decided to try out and like do a rental type thing. So our first place we ever rented was on Amy Drive in Carlisle. It was like a little trailer and a month lease. Went in there, rented for a couple months, moved back out, went home. Tried again, went to Easterly Drive in Mechanicsburg, rented a townhouse, did it for a few months, month lease, backed out of that one and went back home. Um, and at that point, like I had started working at Members First, so like I was finally starting to like gain some traction and trying to compare to her nursing income and stuff. So we and I've always been preaching to maybe move south or to do something where it's a little bit warmer and not so goddamn cold out like it is today. Um, and so we've always talked about potentially moving south or whatever. But for the most part, I lived at my grandfather's house near the sports emporium for the longest time while she was living at home. When I first came back from Florida, I was living with her for a little bit. And so, yeah, so we've just kind of been all over the place. Yeah, fuck this cold for real. It's too cold. And so, yeah, so we've just been all over the place. We decided at one point that like I thought that I could Google enough to like represent myself in a real estate transaction. So I was like, we should be able to handle this. Like, let's just do some Googling. And like, I'm a pretty good sleuth when it comes to internet shit. So I was like, all right, like I can figure out like most details. I was calling sellers agents who would commonly ask me who I worked for, which led me to believe that they thought I was a buyer's agent. So after a little while, I was like, all right, like I have some merit. Like I know what I'm talking about, like more than your average consumer enough that agents are always like, who do you work for? What's up, Chris? Thanks, man. Appreciate you. But yeah, so we one time Kayla and I like it was like the first lot we went to look at. Like I got my job at Members First going full time, and I think it was the first promotion I got that took me to the back office, and like I was still in the call center, and Kayla and I decided to go look at a piece of land, and it had this house that looked like Hagrid lived there. Like it was like the windows were just like a piece of wood, like the flooring was a piece of wood, like it was nuts. So we went in and the seller's agent met us there. This lady, sweet old lady, walks us around. And the whole time, Kaylee and I are looking at the property because we wanted to tear the house down and put like a mobile home or a modular home on it, and then eventually someday build. Like that was the original plan. Throw up a mobile home, live there for a few years, build behind our house, give the mobile home to my sister or her sister or our kids someday. Um, and so we decided to, so we go look at this property. It was like 155 grand, I think. It was a house that looked like Hagrid would live in it. Like the shit was so run down, so busted. What's up, Sabrina? And the realtor the whole time is like, yeah, no, like, just a little bit of paint. The lady that lives here is really old, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're looking at it, and the whole time we knew we weren't buying it. And eventually we said something about like tearing it down. And the lady was so offended. And she was like, you guys are going to tear it down. And we were like, yeah, of course we're going to tear it down. Like, this is not what we want. We just want this property. So we're gung-ho. We were young, we were impatient as fuck, we were set, like that was it. We were gonna buy this property, we were gonna sling a mobile home up or a modular home, and then we were gonna just live there until we could afford to build a house someday, because that's just how easy it was. It was super simple. You just, the 20% down rule applied to construction and everything. We had no idea. We didn't know anything about anything. We just assumed we could wing it and figure it out. So we tell this lady, and I remember the look on her face again too. Whenever I said, Kaylee and I talked for like a minute in like the little wooded area, and then we came back, and she's like, "Okay, yeah, like take your time, talk to your parents, blah blah blah," because we were so young, and she knew we needed to talk to some people, and she was like, "Talk to whoever," and I immediately was like, "No, we're gonna take it. We're gonna pay full price. Like we're gonna pay the 155. Like we're like, can we go back to your office today and sign? Like we don't want somebody else to buy it. This is perfect. It's exactly what we want." Thinking back on it, it wasn't in Cumberland Valley, which is ultimately what we wanted for the kids. Like just because we went there, it just, there were so many things that were wrong with it. Like it was next to like a railroad track. Like it just, like it wasn't the right property at all in any stretch of the imagination. We just were like, oh, 155 and we can burn the house down. Like this will be perfect. So we go back to her office and we're like almost getting ready to write an offer. And like I could tell by her face when she was like, "Oh, you're gonna write an offer right now? Like you want full price? Like you're just gonna do it right now?" And I was like, "Okay, this is a bad idea." And so like I was like, "Kaylee, we gotta stop." I was like, "Let's talk to like your parents first, or like figure something out. And this might be the bad idea." So we decided to back out. Like we were like, "Hold on." I was like, "Time out on that offer. Let us talk to our parents and make sure we have like the money ordered and all that good stuff." First fucking thing that her dad says, he looks it up online. First thing her dad says is, "Are you gonna be able to get a mobile home up there? Like, how's a truck gonna be able to pull a mobile home up there? Like, they might not be able to do that." Never occurred to us. Never occurred to us. How are you gonna get a mobile home on a truck and trailer and drag it halfway up a mountain on the mountainside through this like shitty, bumpy property and get it set up and stuff? And they were like, "You might have to do a stick build. Like, you can't do a modular or a mobile home." And for anybody building, like that's like 10 times more expensive right out of the gate to not do a mobile or a modular. Like you're immediately just looking at more cost because you're going to build it stick built and just material by material. So right away we were like, "Yeah, no, we're going to do it. We're all for it. Let's pay full price for this property. We're going to tear the house down and rebuild a house." I also didn't understand how equity worked. And so I thought that we could buy the property. We were going to put like 20 grand down. It was like 150 grand. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. Yeah, I figured that like that's. I was talking about how to do it, and I figured I was just going to do a live video. Most people will probably catch in at the end and have to go back, but it should allow for rewinding. But yeah, if not, that's, yeah. When you're all done, that's it. If you feel like watching it, that's. I'm happy that so many people give a shit and wanted to figure out what was going on. So yeah, I was happy to update the crowd. But yeah, so we, with that house, I forget where I was there, but we yeah, like we couldn't do it. Oh yeah, so I thought that we had, it was like 150. I thought we could put 20 grand down, and for my head, like the way that it worked was, yeah, we still owe 130 on the land, but like we're gonna be able to go to the bank and be like, "Hey, we have a property that's worth 150K. We want to borrow 150K from it," and then use 150K to purchase like to build the house from scratch with just 150 grand out of pocket. Like had no idea how equity worked. Like was a complete moron. So just to give the preface of how Christy, that's awesome. I'm happy that I could help. Hopefully I keep you guys entertained. But yeah, so we had no idea how anything worked. I have literally notes here. I had to like talk about this with Kaylee today and make sure I had like the timeline correct on shit. But yeah, so we had no idea anything in construction process. So we just decided to like bail on that one completely and just wait. And so this is the time where she was working like normal nursing stuff, like coming out of school, working in the hospital. I was working in the back office at the credit union. And so we both were just like, all right, let's find the next piece of property and find a home and then let's live there. And so it was like years of just like knowing that we had rented and wasted money, knowing that we almost got ourselves stuck in a shitty property and had to build somewhere and do whatever. And oh man, sorry guys, sorry Kay, sorry for the language. Chelsea, please don't judge me for the language. I try so hard to keep it in when I'm at Tina's and I just can't. It always pops out. But yeah, so we decided to wait a few years and just like see where it took us. We knew what we wanted then. We knew we almost got screwed in that first property. We knew that we could resettle and figure out like, okay, we want something in Cumberland Valley. So we're waiting years at this point, and her dad and us have always decided like, is it possible we could buy like a bigger plot of land and split the land in half and have like you guys get half, we get half, and if it's big enough, can we cut some acreage, extra acreage for her sister, my sister, for the kids? Like, can we kind of have like an estate type deal where, oh yeah, my aunt, my uncle, whatever, they all live right here next to us. Okay, cool. Keep Kennedy laughing. She gets to see the real me without the kids around. They're sleeping, so I have time to myself. Um, but yeah, so we've went and looked at, Kaylee and I have went and looked at so many properties where it was like, okay, is this worth it? can we subdivide it? Are we allowed to subdivide it? How much is it going to cost to subdivide? Who gets what property if we do subdivide? Does her dad even want to do it? Like, there were so many, her mom and dad both, like, there were so many times where just things went back and forth. And so we were like, okay, if we find a property, we should go gung ho on it. But then we'd stop and take a time out and be like, well, wait, should maybe your dad wants to buy that other property down the street? And like, back and forth. Like, had we have had a realtor at the time, would have been the worst candidate, like worst customers in the world. And so I was learning so much at that point, though, because I was making the calls to the townships and asking about subdividing, and again, getting these people who thought that I was a realtor and giving me like additional information and stuff that like I probably shouldn't have had. And they were like, yeah, have you talked to your broker about this? And I was like, uh-huh, go on, go on. And like, I knew I shouldn't be learning, but I was like, continue telling me. So we learned a shit ton, just like about the like subdividing and things that the township like to do and wouldn't like to do, and like, tell your customers this. Like, I heard that all the time, and I was like, yeah, I'll be sure to let them know. um Talk to like all the financing people for the banks and stuff. So at that point, still had no real estate training, and now I had gotten like, we had learned a good bit, we had seen some houses. And so then at a certain point, and the timeline's super fuzzy because so much shit has happened, but we decided to, in like roughly 2017, 2018, we're looking at some houses, and I walk out of one where the seller's agent meets us there. And the guy inside, like, he's super realistic, super genuine. Like, I just really, excuse me, really vibed with him. I really liked who he was. And he kind of looked familiar. And like, I didn't catch it for like the first half, but he was saying things about the house that were like, not necessarily detrimental to the seller. Like, I don't want to talk bad about the situation, but like, he was being realistic with us, where he was like, I see that you guys are representing yourself. Like, just be worried about, like, don't be worried, like, pay attention to this, look out for this. Like, this is something, like, if I were you, I would ask the seller about this. They didn't really tell me this. Like, we were doing the walkthrough and he was seeing stuff himself and like pointing it out. And so I was like, all right, this guy isn't trying to like push a quick sale. And I was like, I appreciate that. And like, I thought I knew him. And so we get outside, and all of a sudden it dawns on me where I know him from, just like some hood rat shit back in the day. And so I just was like, I just looked at him and I was like, do I know you from this person? And he immediately perked up and was like, yeah, I thought I knew you too. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. So that is how Brandon Marpo became our realtor. So again, if anybody needs a realtor, you have to call Brandon Marpo. He knows too many people. He knows what to do. He has seen the worst shit. We are the worst customers in the world. But we walked out of White Rock Acres looking at our property. We walked out with him, and just were set on being with him and him being our realtor. And I was like, you know what? And he broke it down and was like, if you represent yourself, like, this is really kind of like what you're going to save and stuff. And I was like, you know what? It isn't even worth the headache. Let's just let you do that stuff. And he has access to like the back end systems and stuff. So I was like, you know what? It's just better. Like, let's just have a realtor, and like that makes me feel better. So I don't have to keep calling and like trying to pretend that I'm a realtor and calling behind people's back and stuff. And like, because some people were like, who do you work for? And I was like, right now I'm not. And they're like, so you don't have a broker, you're not a realtor? And I was like, shit, no. Like, I'm just looking. Like, it just got real awkward on some of the calls. So I was like, you know what? I was like, let's get a realtor. I was like, let's just pass stuff off on him. So at that point, Kaylee and I are doing like Saturday night dinners at Roadhouse, Sunday morning breakfast at the diner, and then searching for houses, everything in between. Like, she'd come over Friday night after we both get off work. We'd look up houses online Friday night. Saturday morning, we'd look all day. We'd go to dinner. Sunday, we'd look all day, come home and watch football. Like, it was just chaos trying to find a house or find land realistically, because we still didn't quite know how the construction loans worked. But right before I met Brandon, I did get my real estate license. So like early 2018, I got my promotion to my first salary big boy job in January. As soon as I got promoted, decided to propose because she was waiting on that and I was past due. So March of 2018, I proposed. As soon as I did that, I took my real estate classes. Wasn't sure I was going to be a realtor. I just really wanted to know that, okay, if we're about to buy a house, I want to know what's happening on the back end. Like, I don't want to get screwed out of stuff. Like, I need to know what's happening. So that was what also put faith in Brandon, was whenever I was like, yeah, I have my real estate license, but I'm not an active realtor. Like, I do have my real estate license, but I don't work for anybody, which I also misinterpreted going into the game. I thought you could just go take your classes, go home, post on Facebook, hey, I can represent anybody who wants to buy a house. I'm going to represent you. And then in the class, they're like, no, you need a brokerage. Like, you have to have somebody backing you, like insurance and liabilities and connections. And like, who do you think you are? You need to work for like Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Iron Valley Real Estate. Like, you got to pick somebody and work for them. I had no idea. I took real estate classes because I wanted to leave that salary job and just work for myself, period. Nobody overseeing me. Completely misunderstood that. Ended up spending the money on the classes anyway. Took the classes, got my license, got approved, had a real estate license, did nothing with it. Did absolutely nothing with it. Just got it and was like, all right, called in, suspended it, and then never did anything else with it. But I learned a good bit about it, met a couple people, and then so when I met Brandon, I was like, all right, like, I know enough and he knows, and like, we have a respectable relationship here. So I was like, all right, this is cool. Let's rock with it. So that was kind of how it all came about. And like, we've always had an interest in like owning a rental property or something. So I was like, I feel like I should know what's happening through the transaction. So rambling on about that, but yeah, that's how we ended up meeting Brandon. That was where my real estate background came from, and like about everything I knew was just calling into the townships, meeting Brandon, going through all these houses. And then at that point we started seeing so many houses because Brandon could get us into everything. So we just were like, hey, here's a list of what we want to do, get us into whatever you can. We then were all over the place. We had put offers in, like we would call him. So Kaylee is too impatient, way too impatient. She cannot, like, she just can't. There's a line that she can't draw. And so, like, with the first house, she, like, with the first couple situations, it was like we'd visit and then she was like, do it, put an offer in. And then we were like, no, like, maybe not do that. And we were going back and forth like we always do. And then one day I was at work and I came home and she was like, I texted Brandon and told him to do this and do this and do this. And I was like, no. I was like, you have him running all over the place now, and like this isn't even sure. And like I could see like the smirk in her face where it was like, yeah, I don't know, like this is kind of fun, but like we don't know. And I like had to like break it down where I was like, no, like you're causing him like mileage and time and hours. Like we can't do things on him. Like he's not just expendable. Like we need to make sure. Like she didn't mean it disrespectfully. Like it just the whole picture wasn't there. So I was like, all right, we got to make sure we're respecting time and all that good stuff. And so I was like, you got to like delete his number if you're not going to be able to do it. So she was like, all right, fine. She was like, you handle all communications. So since that point, like early 2018, we met Brandon. Kaylee was like, I'm not going to talk to him. I'll let you do it. Like they're friends. They talk every time we're all together, but I handle all communication just that way. There's no impatient, no wires crossed, nothing. I do all the emails, all the texts, everything. So we're meeting with Brandon, like I said, yeah. So then like I didn't want overlap, like me to be at work looking up houses and him drawing up contracts because she was like, yeah, put an offer and do it anyway. So I was like, no, we can't be having this. So like let's get on one page here. All of her try to take like 5 to 10 of the complaints and filter it into one, like 5 to 10 house searches and filter it into like 2 or 3. So like I just always was trying to filter stuff out in a very good way. We went through so many houses. We went through ones that looked fantastic online, and you walk in and there's just like that thickness of cat piss. Like you just gotta like cut at it and chop it to get through the front door. And like it, like you just immediately walk in. I look at Brandon. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'll buy you lunch. Let's leave. Like it just immediately. Like there were ones where we walk in and it's just like the way it's set up. You just immediately know. Like there's ones with the neighborhood, the parking. Like we just had too much shit. And again, we kept switching what we wanted. There was no set in stone. Whenever you search, you're searching for a 3-bed, 2-bath, this many square foot in this school district. Well, then we would switch and be like, well, let's drop down a bedroom and then we'll use that extra money to do this or do that or to refinance this. Or what if we do a duplex now? And then like we just, and well, what if we buy like a mobile home? Okay, well now we need a plot of land to put a mobile home on it. Okay, no, we need, but that loan is harder to get. So we need to buy a house, a piece of property with a house already on it, but the house can't be in good condition. But it's got to be good enough condition that you get a certain loan type to get approved for it. Because if it's too bad, you won't get approved for the other loan type. So you got to have a property that's good, that has a house that's mediocre, that you can get a decent loan type for, that's not too expensive, so you can tear the house down and then take out an equity loan. Like we just like every day I was like, all right, Brandon, I want a 5-bedroom, 3-bath in Cumberland Valley, 100%. I'll bet my life on it. And then by lunch, I was like, okay, well, she said like Mechanicsburg School District or Camp Hill works too, like Carlisle maybe. Like it was so back and forth. So like if you imagine yourself going into like realtors, what's up, Kelly? Interesting, making fun for a fun Friday night story. Perfect. I'm glad I could help. But yeah, so it was like we just kept changing what we wanted. So we were looking at so many different houses, so many different properties. We'd look at a townhouse one day. We'd look at a mansion we couldn't afford the next day. We'd look at a piece of property we didn't have the money down to build on the next day. Like we had Brandon all over the place because we didn't really know what we wanted. We didn't know what things entailed, and we were kind of learning as we go. We had houses in Dillsburg we put an offer in that was well over, like this was before COVID and all that stuff, but the housing was like still kind of up in price. We like lost out on a bidding war, thankfully. The cat piss house. We went into a house where it was one of those ones where you walk in and like the walls were like such an obnoxious color that like you just couldn't even focus on shit. There was one where like you go in and they said there was minor basement troubles. We went in, the basement was flooded. There was like 6 inches of water. So like you walk in, you're looking around, you're checking out the kitchen. You're like, this looks sweet. You open the door, there's just fish in the fucking basement. So it's like, all right, no, hard pass, we're out. And then yeah, so we were all over the place. At some point during all this, without Brandon, one of the properties we had talked about maybe, the secret hood rat shit. So I can't put him too much on blast because a lot of people know him and the reputation and stuff. But it's all good stuff. It was more or less just like I was meeting somebody. I was meeting somebody else for something, and Brandon was there. So like, it just was like a little bar visit with somebody else, and Brandon just happened to be there. Like, no big deal. So yeah, I met him at that. Just it was like a brief moment. I'm eye to eye. Years later, here's a paint chip, and you might want to ask about this. And I just was like looking at him, and I was like, I fucking know you from somewhere. I know I do. And then like for whatever reason, like as we were walking out, I just was like, the bar. I was like, I know where I know you from now. And I pointed it out, and he was like, yeah, that was me. And so immediately we were like, all right, cool. Like we're friends now. Like we can just be friends. Like this is cool now. And like we both hit up that mutual friend, and that mutual friend's like, yeah, no, cool dudes, cool dudes. Like you guys can be cool. And like so we both like, all right, word. But yeah, so but without him at one point, my father-in-law and I found a property where we were like, all right, let's go and look. Oh yeah, Carrie, it's crazy. Yeah, it definitely. Yeah, building, just have extra money set aside, like be ready financially, like money wise, like down payment wise, just like because there are so many. Whenever they say so many things will go wrong, there's so much shit. Excuse me, that's gonna go wrong. Like it's crazy. And yeah, so yeah, just be prepared. What's up, Eric? Yeah, man, we're super excited. That's it's worth it. We like now that we finally closed. That's why we haven't announced because I'll get to that here in a little bit of why we haven't announced until we officially fucking closed. But yeah, we just wanted to be done and official. Checks written, everybody paid, kind of everybody paid, but the bank paid, the builder paid. Like we're out that money now, so we own the house. Um, but yeah, so we go one time. We find this property near Williams Grove Speedway. Bunch of acreage, like 6 to 10 acre lots, 5 to 6 lots, all next to each other. Right in Cumberland Valley School District, Monroe Township, near the Speedway. And so we were like, all right, cool. Like these are like within our price range. Kind of at the time, it was still early on. So we were like, this is gonna be tough, but like we can make it work. How long do we have to build? We don't want to wait 20 years, but like, can we have like a year to two? And it was like an 18-month time frame or something like that to build after you bought the lot. So Kayla and I at the time were like, if we do this, like we can go all in and try to build. We'll be good. Your parents will buy the lot next door. Like they'll sell their house. We'll live with them if we need to while we're building. Like it'll like this will work out. Like let's rock and roll with this. So we go and we meet the listing agent that's responsible for these properties. And he sits in an office with us and hands us an HOA. And like I said, they are 6 to 10 acre properties. And he hands us like this HOA paperwork essentially saying that like once you build it, this is the shit that you're allowed to do. These are your bylaws. This is what you can do. The one that I just remember sticking out to me so clearly, it was you may have those blue plastic pools for your dog, but only between April and October. If you have one of those plastic blue pools on your porch in between October and April, you're going to get a letter about it. And for those that know me and know that I come from the trailer park, our shit ass trailer park growing up was all about the letters. Basketball hoop faced the driveway. All the driveways had giant potholes. I would have torn my ACL. No wonder I didn't fucking go pro. Turn it toward the road, you immediately get all of the letters from the head office of the trailer park. Like you can't do this, that's strike one. You can't do this, that's strike two. You can't have a fireplace this many feet from the house. Like it just was constant shit. Yeah, Eric and Christy are both here right now. But y'all can fucking vouch for that. Like getting a letter was just like Scott and Kathy. It would like meet me outside real quick. Like it was so annoying. So yeah, so thinking that her and I could spend like our entire life saving, like everything we have, put everything we have into this, and then still someone be like, you can't do that in your yard, and it's an 8 acre property. I just like I couldn't swallow that. So while we're sitting at the table, like her dad was like, boop, I'm good. Like folder closed, like I'm straight, y'all do you, like I'm good. And we were like reading through and I was panicking and she really wanted it. So we were like, all right, maybe we do it. Like let's think about it. So we were like, all right, let's back out for now, of course. Like let's think about it and come back and see what happens. Ended up not doing it because we were like, there's no way in hell we want to live with those bylaws. Like, I want to be able to ride a four-wheeler naked at 3 a.m. with a Roman candle shooting through the air and no one say a goddamn word of, and a joint in the other hand. Like, I just want to, and like riding through, no one says shit about anything. Like, I don't ever want to get a letter if I'm spending that kind of money. If I'm living in an apartment, like, fine, I'm not shooting Roman candles out the apartment window, but like, if I live on my own acreage, like, you're not going to tell me what I can do. So, had a hard time swallowing that. So I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck that. Like, let's get out of here. Like, literally, like, Viva La Bam. Like, that's what we grew up on. In my head, I'm like, if that's what I want to do, if that's what my kids want to do, and I'm supervising, or if I have enough beers to allow it, like, I want that to happen. I don't want Billy Bob next door and Karen on the other side calling in and being like, the Bartles boys are out there again. Like, cool. Grab a lawn chair, grab a beer, and pull the fuck up. So, yeah. So we could not do it. We just were like, all right, yeah, fuck this. Let's back out. Let's just keep looking. So that was the original Clouser where we were just like, all right, fuck that. So now at this point, now we're like in bed with trying to find a house with her dad, and we're like, let's look in Perry County, let's look here. What if we use my mom's address for this kids, like my grandpa's house, like to go to CV? Does it matter if they go to CV? Do we care? Like we just were all over the place. Could never set in stone anything. Every day it changed. This is prior to TikTok, but like you'd see a Facebook video or whatever, like we just would switch like our like we'd see one thing and then like we would talk about it and be like, that does actually make sense, and then switch our idea and then vice versa and go back and forth. So finally we were looking at, like I said, like CV or not, all this other stuff. So then we get all the way to, if I'm in the right spot here, let's see. Yeah. So at this point, like I'm living at home at my grandpa's house. She's living at home at her mom's house. We've already rented these places. We're back home. We put offers in on houses that haven't come to fruition, and like we're just kind of looking around. We don't really know what we want to do still. Like one day we literally like 4-bed, 2-bath, basement, pool, do it, send it, put in offers on every house you could find. Brandon was like, Jesus Christ. And then by breakfast, I was like, just no, cut it out with the 4-bedroom in the pool. It's cool. We actually want money to travel. Like, don't do that. Like, and so I know he was always like, I'm waiting for a double, triple check and then I'll submit shit. Like, I'll submit offers. And so then finally, I convinced Kaylee at one point, and this is like early 2018. I just got my promotion. We just got engaged. And I was like, hey, I have a chihuahua. You have a cat. Let's travel. Like, let's buy a townhouse here, abide by some bullshit HOA stuff, but then we can travel to Florida, we can travel to Georgia or South Carolina, whatever. Like, let's buy a property somewhere else, rent it out. I was just thinking about this earlier. I can't remember if Airbnb was popping at that time, if that was still a thing, like 2018. I guess it probably would have been. COVID ate up like 3 years. So I feel like Airbnb was a thing at that point. So Airbnb was probably like starting off or taking off or whatever. So we were like, let's buy a property somewhere tropical. Let's buy a townhouse here and let's just 9 to 5 it and fucking do our thing until we can retire and have a property, and it'll be great. We'll have something to hand down to our kids someday. We don't have the land we wanted, but like whatever, it's fine. Let's just rock and roll. It was popping. Yeah. Airbnb. I figured it was at that time. Yeah, see, Calvin, I've seen your lot. Like, you being able to build that track, like, that's the shit I want. Like, if I build a track outside for the kids, like, so fucking be it. I want to build a half pipe, so be it. We want to put in, like, a 40-yard football field for the kids and put some paint up, let's do it. Like, you're not going to tell me no on a fucking, if I want to 20 plastic pools because I have a chicken, a dog, 4 sheep, and a donkey, like, get out of my yard. Why are you in my yard to begin with? That's kind of like how I've always looked at it, is like, if you can see the shit I'm doing, you're too close. Like, you're in you're in danger if you can see the shit that I'm doing on 6 acres. Like, you shouldn't be out here. But yeah, so we are all over the place. Finally convinced Kaylee. I'm like, look, let's just get a townhouse. Let's get a condo. Let's do some Airbnb. Let's set ourselves up. Let's rock and roll. And she was like, you know what? Finally, I agree. Talk to my parents. They think that's a good idea too. And like, that's always like her backing. And that's both of our backings, is like her parents. If they think that it's a good idea and both agree on it, we're both like, all right, yeah, fuck, just do it. So yeah, so we got kind of got that blessing of like, yeah, save your money, do a townhouse, buy like an investment type thing. Like, don't go crazy. Like, just chill. Literally like a week after that, family shit happened where I end up taking care of my grandmother. Got her out of a situation that was more or less unsafe and put her in a hotel near my house where I was staying at my grandfather's. I'm now working a new full-time big boy salary job. Kaylee's nursing, not seeing her except for the weekends when we're house searching. Roadhouse for dinner on Saturday, diner, breakfast, house searching for the weekend. That's the whole weekend. Then I'm taking care of my grandmother before work. I wake up, go take care of her, go to work, coordinate people visiting her on lunch, getting off work, going to visit her in the hotel I had her staying at because couldn't fit her in my grandfather's house and couldn't just find an apartment. And her and I had just decided to just hold off and look for a townhouse. So now we're looking for a townhouse or a house with first floor living. It can't just be any old house. We can't do this. We can't do that. It changes that criteria now. No matter what we do, apartment, first floor, has to have a first floor bedroom, first floor bathroom, because she can't go up and down steps. So that's where it gets really tricky then. So we were like, okay, now we got to find this. So this is like, I'm pretty sure like March-ish, right around the time that we got engaged. So like, yeah, engaged March 13th, we got engaged, and then right around then I'm taking care of my grandmother too. So like, it was just pure chaos. Like, and I was like, oh, this is a lot. How am I going to handle this? And then looking at the shit that we deal with now. At the time, I just was like, oh no, I bought a ring and like my grandma, and I got a big boy job, and like it just felt like a lot. And I was like, this is stressful. So we decided to then look for a place that we could take my grandmother in. We updated, and her mom has been helping us look all the time. Like her mom was a realtor and Zillow guru at the same time, like I was. Like her and I were just on that shit immediately, getting those emails first thing in the, like her mom's up early, so she'd get those things first in the morning, like added today to the realtor, whatever. So she reached out one night at 8 p.m. and said, "Hey, look at this house on the market for 2 hours. Just went up around dinner time in Cumberland Valley, 5 doors down the five houses down the road from me, from her mom." And so we were like, "What the hell? Like in Cumberland Valley, near her mom? Like this is perfect. First floor living. It's a ranch house with a walkout basement." So we go and drive by it real quick at like 9 p.m. We were both at my grandpa's house, drive by the house, come home, call Brandon. I'm like, "Yo, I need to look at this tomorrow morning, first thing." And he was like, "It's going to sell tomorrow. So do you want to go look at it? Or are you guys for real? It's going to be gone tomorrow." And this is like when shit was like up, down, up, down. This is right before COVID hit, but houses were up. People were overbidding and they were gone. Like before, like the $30,000 to $50,000 overbidding, but like before COVID, this was at the point where it was like you weren't really paying full price for whatever house was listed. Like if you did, like they were doing seller's assistance or waiving some kind of closing cost. Like they were helping out in some way. Like you were getting the boat that was sitting in the yard or some shit. Like you were not paying full price. And then all of a sudden people started bidding like the 5 to 10 over like the exact purchase price and all that good stuff. So we were like, all right, like if we buy this one, like we got to go purchase price or possibly a little bit more just to like make sure we secure it because we've already lost out on these other offers. I've been driving back and forth to the hotel every single day trying to figure out how to like take care of my grandmother who can't really walk. Like it was chaos. So I'm doing that, trying to figure this out. Get the text at 8 p.m. Drive by the house, looks great. Come back, antsy as fuck. Wake up first thing in the morning, meet the Brandon over there, walk through it, immediately are like, "Yep, this is the one, put the offer in." So he calls, the seller is like, "Are you for real? Because like, are these guys qualified? Do they have a pre-approval? Like, what's their income like do you know them? Because if they're going to back out, I have 11 showings or something like that." Like, it was more than 10. It was like 12 or 14 or whatever, but he was like, "I have 11 showings scheduled tomorrow. And if you, and this is on a Monday, so Sunday night she texted us. Monday morning we look at the house, and then I had to go to work right away. So like we literally sped walked through it, and we're like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. If there's any paint chips or dumb shit like that, as long as the roof isn't caving in and the water heater works, let's fucking gung ho and do it." So we get there, and so then Brandon calls the seller agent and is like, "They're gonna buy this shit." And he was like, "Are you for real? Because I'm gonna cancel all these showings and just accept the offer for like purchase price or a little more. Like tell them to sweeten the deal a little bit, and I'll just cancel all the showings. You'll save me the Tuesday. Like I'll get an office day back, and y'all can just buy the house and call it a day." Because he was like, "I didn't schedule any showings on Monday, but if you guys want to buy it already without even just walking through it, like call it a day. Go ahead, you're the first ones in." So we did. So we put the offer in, they accepted. We paid like 10 grand more than like the purchase price or the listing price, which was fine. And that's the house we live in now. Everything was great. We had my grandmother. The issue was is that at the time we anticipated we're going to have my grandmother long term. She's going to be with us forever. Up until that point, like I knew her mobility wasn't great, but there was some mobility. She could take care of herself a little bit. She was pretty independent. It was going to be fine. Immediately, we realized that she is not as independent as she said she was. She is not as mobile as she said she was. It's a disaster. So we're like, this can't work. Like there's no way that we can do this. So shit got tough, but we were like, we gotta put you back into the home where you were prior to the unsafe situation, which is why she was in the unsafe situation. Was, well, fuck that. I don't want to go to a nursing home. I'm gonna go to this shitty, terrible spot. Went there, found out how bad it was, and I was like, okay, you gotta come out of there. So we took her in, had her in a hotel while I was stopping in, taking care of her all day, every day in between work visits and shit. Bought this house June 1st of 2018 is when we moved in. So we moved in day one immediately. Like my grandmother was coming with, like we had her shit in there too. Like everybody was there. We were in the house pretty much right away. She was like in and out of rehab stuff at the time, like for falling down and stuff. So she wasn't there all the time, but she was there. As soon as we move in, got to have a dog. We go and we adopt Oakley. So now 2018, I've been promoted. I got engaged. Decided to do a townhouse and a condo. Switched it, adopted my grandmother, became power of attorney and living, all that good stuff. Bought a house with 12 hours notice and no walkthrough, no inspections really, no Kaylee's parents' approval. Like her mom sent the link, but her dad didn't get to walk through. Like every other property we'd walk through with Brandon, and then I was like, all right, cool, let me have my father-in-law go through and like knock on shit and listen to stuff and be like, yep, nope, that's got 3 years left in it. So I was like, I need that to happen. This house specifically that we're in right now, we were just like, no, the location is shit. We're down the road from him. So if shit breaks, I just call him and he comes and helps. So I was like, let's fucking rock and roll and let's do it. So bought this shit on a whim, and then again we decided we could afford it, but it was the very, very maximum of our budget. Like Kaylee and I were essentially house poor. Like we didn't have money to do shit, and like we had just moved in, and like having her money was like paying for her. Like we weren't profiting from her, but she was like paying some of the bills on her end, like things that she did. Like we weren't gonna get TV at all. Like we had no interest in having cable. She was here all day. She was like, get direct TV, I'll fucking pay for it. Like I don't want to sit around and stare at the wall all day. And like we weren't really popping on Netflix and Hulu and Paramount. Netflix, Hulu, Paramount, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime. What's the other one that we use? Oh, and Plex. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so we didn't have all that shit. So she was like, get DirecTV. We get it. And then again, she pretty much is like 2 or 3 months she was here and she moves out. And then immediately we're like, okay, well, now we don't have her income because she's got to pay for the nursing homes. And then like shit got tight and we were just like, oh, this is like kind of crazy. Like, this is gonna be tough for a little while. Like it's just gonna be tough like until like I can get another promotion or she like works like extra hours at the hospital, but like that's just like a fucking drainer. Like when you're already working 3, 4, 12-hour shifts a week, like I was like picking up another shift is gonna kill you. I was like, let's just make things tight and like we'll be fine. Like we'll just exist through it. So yeah, so we weren't dying, but it wasn't great. And like so like once my grandmother moved out, like that cushionable income was just like, okay, cool, like now we gotta tighten shit up. So then at that point, and during that time when things weren't so bad, like I wouldn't say bad, just tight. Prior to my grandmother's departure, we were like, "Oh, Oakley needs a friend. Let's adopt Luna." So one day while I'm at work, Kaylee's like, "Oh my god, this adorable puppy. Me and my sister gotta go get her." And I was like, "Okay, he does need a friend, so fine, go get Luna." So she goes and adopts Luna and comes home. And then a little while later, my grandmother moves out. Now shit gets tight. And then I decide, like an idiot, I'm going to start a business and had the opportunity presented to me to start the CBD business. So somebody comes to me and is like, hey, I have a friend that runs a hemp farm. He wants us to hold the retail side. Do you want to create a CBD business? It's not an MLM. It's like an actual legitimate, you get to white label it. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm down with that. So like we get to create a design logo, name, brand, formula, ingredients essentially. Like we get to nitpick and like design our own product using a lab. So we were subcontracting a lab for doing our product is how that all worked. Like we called them and we're like, this is what we want. This is the milligram we want. They were like, no, we offer this. We can make this. And they would try to custom stuff. We'd buy stuff they offered. But like I wasn't in my basement cooking it, but I also wasn't just buying it and reselling it in a way. So regardless, it was like, all right, yeah, let's try that out. Like I'm going to start this business. It's going to be great. I put in a 2.5 week notice in this big boy salary job that I have in Members First because I loved the job. I loved the team. I loved my supervisor. I loved my boss's boss. Like everything was great. I just like hit this point of like, oh shit, like I'm going to do this 9 to 5 in a cube for the next 20 years. Like it just all of a sudden, like I got promoted really quickly a few times, which was great. But then all of a sudden it was just like shit, I'm gonna be like just doing this for like 20 years. And like I just was like, I don't know that I want to do that. Like I got my real estate license, like I'm gonna bounce and just start my own, like start a business and see how that goes. And like I'm still young, I have 2 dogs, like we're just chilling, like the finances is a little tight, but like let's wing it and see what happens. Put in a 2.5 week notice, almost a 3 week notice, because I was like, hey, I want to help train the replacement. I don't want you guys to be fucked. Like, I'm going to start my own business essentially, so like I can take my time. I don't need to leave right away. I'm not going to say 2 weeks. You have me for 10 days. Fuck off. So I was like, all right, let me help you guys out. So I put in like say it's like a 17 or an 8 day notice or something like that. Like 4 days into that notice, I come home for lunch one day, and Kaylee is like, and it's September. So yeah, so the weather wasn't like crazy, but like, what's up, Zach? How you doing? Of course I remember you, Zach. What's up, brother? Of course I remember you, man. We were just talking about the I was just talking about the trailer park a couple minutes ago. So I come home one day for lunch, and Kaylee is like thoroughly cleaning the whole house. Like the whole house is scrubbed down. Like she's like spring cleaning. It's like middle September, which like Kaylee's clean. She cleans, but like this random spring cleaning. It was just weird thing. And I just remember coming home for lunch, which I never do. So like I came home for lunch, which is weird. And I walked in and she was like, what the fuck are you doing here? And I was like, I don't know. I just decided to come home and like eat lunch real quick and I'm going right back to the office. And I was like, that's weird. She was like spring cleaning during the day. Like that was kind of fucking random, but like whatever, no big deal. Like acted kind of funny, but whatever. I go back to work. I get home from work 5 p.m. and there's fucking your welcome home daddy fucking pregnancy test sitting there on the island. And I was like, what? And this is 4 days after I put in my fucking work notice to quit my job and start my own business with zero income and an already tight financial situation in the house that we were living in. And she's like, hey, I'm pregnant. And I was like, oh my god, that's fucking awesome. Like I was so excited. Like I was so happy. I literally remember running around and we were so excited, but like I in my head was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? The cool part about it was it's too early on in the pregnancy to tell anybody. You can't tell your friends, you can't tell your family, you can't do anything, you can't involve people at work. So then I got to go back to work the very next day, sit at my desk, and everyone talking about starting this business and being an entrepreneur and good thing you don't have any kids and you're young and this is great, like good for you, bro. And I was like, huh? I'm gonna go throw up again. Be right back, guys. See you later. Like, give me 2 minutes. And like, I just constantly was like, I gotta go tell my boss I'm kidding. Like, I'm gonna go in there and be like, hey, here's my 2 week notice. Like, fuck that. Just kidding. I'm gonna stay here. Like, fuck that business. Like, let's not do that. So full panic setting in. She's pregnant, and then just like, dude, full panic, dude. I was like pure joy because we weren't trying, but we sure as hell weren't trying. So like, it was not a surprise, but I was like, oh shit, it happened. Cool, look at that. Like, it just caught me off guard because she just had a little pregnancy test thing sitting there, and like I literally walked in, kind of walked by it, and like the dogs were there, and I saw her and the dogs, and she was again looking at me funny. So I was like, all right, cleaning today, and like now you're looking at me weird, like what the fuck's up? And I looked down and it said, "Welcome home, Daddy," and I saw it, and I looked at the dogs and was like, oh, ha ha. And then I saw the pregnancy test and was like, oh shit. And so then, yeah, I remember being fully excited, but then like as soon as the excitement wore down and we got done celebrating, I was like, oh my god, like holy shit, like I just quit my job today. Literally like a couple of days ago I quit my job. Like this is terrible. So yeah, so I decided to, we talked about it, we decided to, yeah, dude, don't be suspicious. Everyone's like, good luck, man. I'm like, thanks, thank you, $2. Like, dude, I was so suspicious, dude. There was no don't be suspicious at all. Dude, it was terrible. Yeah, I got to it. Like, I literally remember sitting at my desk the next day, and I'd already cleaned my desk. Desk was fucking empty. I had laptop, 2 screens, pen, paper. That's it. Like, that was it. Like, I was just working, doing my job, going the fuck home. And I remember just sitting there, like, complete darkness, and I was just like, you gotta go tell him you're kidding. Like, you have to. Like, I was like having a full conversation with myself where I was like, just get in there, go tell your boss you're fucking kidding. Like, take that notice back and get all your shit back out, get re-involved in your projects, and go back to work like you were doing last week. But yeah, so after long talks, Kaylee was like, just fucking go for it. Like, you don't want to like hate, like not going for the chance, like start your own business. That's what you've always wanted to do, like rock and roll with it. So I was like, all right, cool. So start the business. You know, we have flops terribly. So yes, Brennan, I'm so excited for you to watch it from the start. I'm so glad you're here now. But yeah, definitely restart. I gave you a call. I mentioned some hood rat shit earlier, but I kept it real PG for how we met. You were just a standby in a bar. Um, I haven't gotten to my UHM part yet, so don't you worry. The juicy lender parts are coming. The lender part's getting its own video there too. Don't you worry. UHM is getting a true video follow up when we're all done here. So yeah, so at that point, yeah, started Eunomia, flopped miserably. CBD, we thought we could get the swing essentially. Like I thought I was early enough. Dude, I had that on. I had ESPN on earlier because I was waiting for basketball to come on. I looked up and I saw UHM bowl game and I was like, man, fuck this. I was like, I hate this. The famous realtor has arrived. Yes, that is him. Him in the flesh. If anybody needs a realtor, that there is your guy. The little stunt coming soon too. Um, yeah, so started a CBD business. Thought that I could beat the swing. Like we thought we were early enough. Like my business partner and I were like, okay, like it's not in Sheets yet. It's not in Rudders. Like it's not in your local gas stations. You can get it online, but it's not everywhere yet. People don't even know what it is. As soon as I said CBD, people thought it was weed. People thought it was this. Like there's a lot of explaining to do, and I've always been one that's very familiar with cannabis, and I know my terminology and I know my shit. And it gave me an opportunity to like enhance on that and do it legally and like can start a business and shit. So it was a no brainer. Like I just was like, I got to do this. I got to start this. We got to see what happens. So did it, learned some shit, completely flopped. It was kind of fun. Like it is what it is. So after that totally flopped, that was pretty much it. Like that flopped. We were pregnant with Joe. Joe's born. And then because I was sort of unemployed at the time, was like, I'm gonna just stay at home with Joe. So I became a stay-at-home dad, which as someone, if you've known me for a long time, like I originally was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna have kids. Fuck that shit. I don't want kids. Fuck them kids. And now I love being Mr. Mom. It's the greatest thing in the world. So Joe was born, immediately was like, oh shit, this is the best thing in the entire world. Like this is everything now. So got to pay attention to Joe nonstop for like 5-6 months and then worked like some dumbass bullshit jobs in between until we get to Kaylee traveling. So yes, I mean at that point like we just were in the house. We had Joe. Get pregnant again with Mac. Kaylee and I were 6. She's 6. Joe is 6 months old. I was working overnight at Giant so that I could, like, the nights I had off, I could stay up with the kids and like vice versa. Like, it just was like I'll work overnight and see how that goes, and so I can do like business shit during the day. I'll work like a legit job overnight. First time working overnight ever, except for like late night, like driving around. But it was like first time working like 10 to 6, and I was like, okay, this should be no problem. Fucking hell, going into Giant stocking boxes and shit. I was like, okay, this is terrible. So doing that and then like coming home, and then I worked another job of like hospice delivery, which is terrible. Who wants to deliver shit to people that are dying? And then like that in itself is like depressing. But then like the company I worked for was an absolute fucking nightmare. So like management was awful. Like I just got there and was like, I left my analyst job and now I work for you idiots. Like it was tough. I couldn't do it. So yeah, so I just was like, I need these random little bullshit things to like while I'm still running the business, sorta like to just have a little bit of income and not be a total bum. 6 months into it, I'm a bum working at fucking Giant trying to get this business off the ground, and then Kelly's like, hey, I'm pregnant again. And I was like, no fucking shot. I was like, okay, now that's a problem. Like, I need to figure some shit out now. So stayed at home with Joe, worked some bullshit. Mac was born, decided to stay at home with Mac for a little bit. And then as soon as Mac was like a few months old and could go to the babysitter, Rand was able to watch him so that I could go back to work in December of 2020. Only reason any of this is important is because I was like fucked there for a little bit. So like I had no help. So we were stuck in this current home that we were in, that we kind of banked on my grandmother's income a little bit to be able to give us some freedom. So we were just like super, super tight, but like things were okay. But now we have 2 children and 2 dogs. And so like everything's great. And actually we had 3 dogs and a cat at that point because I still had my Chihuahua and she still had her cat. So it just was awesome. Um, I then started West Shore Home, which was a fucking nightmare to work for also. And that's, yeah, anyway, so that's all only relevant because then like yeah, like we were like stuck for a few years at that point. As soon as Eunomia ended, which was like 2018, 2019, it's mid 2019, I'm pretty sure, is when I signed the business back over. Joe was born May of 2019, Mac was born August of 2020, and then I went back to work full time like December of 2020, January of 2021, pretty much. So during that time, we were like, okay, what's our next step? Like, what are we going to do from here? Let's just pay our house down. Let's refinance it. Like, let's maybe build a house down the road. Let's look for a plot of land that we can buy and pay on separately and just kind of be tight again, but then build and whatever. Like, we have the kids now. Like, what are we going to do? And then one night, thank God we went out. This is a night that we went out very rarely, never went out. Somebody invited us. We decided to do it, got a babysitter, and we went out. And they were like, hey, you should consider travel nursing. And so Kaylee and her nursing friends that we went out with were like, hey, yeah, we used to work in the hospital. One of them used to work in the hospital. We were catching up with her, and she was like, yeah, no, I do travel nursing now. I'm in Florida. I do this. I make this much. Like, it's cool. You can do this. You're still a W-2 employee. You can buy a house, blah, 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 blah. So on the ride home, Kaylee was just like, man, wish I would have knew that before we had 2 kids. Like, how would we ever do travel nursing with 2 children? And I was like, dude, I've been a stay-at-home dad for them essentially right when they were born, and you've been like busting your ass working as a nurse. I'll just keep doing that while you go travel and make more than I can fucking even fathom. So I was like, why don't we just take advantage of that situation? So like we just sat on that for a while, and like that was what led to the whole thing. Was if I can handle just running the house and the kids and the dogs and the cats and fucking the house and everything else, she'll travel and it'll just work out, and things have been clicking. So that was what brought us to the current stage. So now she is now traveling. First house we look at, we immediately were like, she was like, I want to do a new build. I want to be in a neighborhood. Fuck the acreage. I don't want to live on 20 acres and you be a mountain man and grow our own food and have chickens. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to have neighbors. I want to live in a neighborhood. The kids want to live in a neighborhood. And I was like, fair. But I lived in a neighborhood, and some of the people in my neighborhood were shitty. And then I'm essentially just forced friends with them based on location, and that was my issue. So then I talked to some people, like my cousin, and I was like, "Hey, how do you feel about living in a neighborhood?" He's like, "Oh, I fucking hate it. It's the worst decision I've ever made in my life." He was like, "Because there's weird people all over the place, and you're just forced to talk to them. You can't even go outside. Hand out, yeah, need this house, need this house, need this house, need this house." Content. Brendan, I even mentioned earlier about how like Kaylee originally had your number, and like we had to make her delete it because whatever happened that day when I was at work, and then came home, and then like she was like, "Yeah, no, I called Brandon and told him to do this, but then told him to do this, and then I had him doing this," and I was like, "No, no, 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 no." I was like, we're not doing this. I was like, give me your phone right now. I was like, we are not doing this. I was like, we are using me as the filter from this day forward. And that was how we rolled. Um, so yeah, so we So yeah, so Kaylee's like neighborhood now. So like I said, our filter kept changing. It was like, Brandon, find us a townhouse. Brandon, find us a single family home on 10 acres or more. Brandon, find us a duplex because we want to rent one side out. Brandon, find us a single family home that has like a barn on it that we can rent out or maybe live in while we build behind the barn and the house, and then subdivide the house to sell the house. And then it was like, no, Brandon, never mind. We're gonna wait and save some money. Time out. Don't do anything yet. Like every single day, it was something different. So then she's like, I want to do the neighborhood. And I was like, I don't, because I've lived in a neighborhood. I don't want to get letters for shit. I don't want an HOA. Like, I don't want to pay that much money and be told what to do. Like, I have no under contract. Oh my God, Brandon, do you want to know how crazy it is? I have like 2 pages of notes here that didn't even make it. Neither Kaylee or I remembered that. That did not. Where was that? I knew there was something else in there. The Dillsburg townhouse. Dude, I knew there was something else, and I was telling her that earlier. We're sitting at the table going through the list, and she was like, I think you have everything. And I was like, I'm telling you, there was something else in between Clouser, Burks, Tunbridge, and this and this and this. And I was like, there was something else in there. I know there was. So yeah, I even got to back up. That was before travel nursing. So before we traveled, before she switched, I knew there was something else in there. Let's back up a little bit. Before travel nursing, we decided, okay, well, our house isn't suitable for the kids. Like, it's suitable, it's safe, everything's fine. Our master bathroom doesn't have a shower in it. It's so stupid. We have a bed, like a toilet and a sink, but no shower. So we have one shower on the first floor, one shower in the basement. So everybody upstairs uses the one shower. It's so fucking annoying. So we just can't have one. Like, walk through the hallway like the kid. It's annoying. It's stupid, and we hate it. Like, to live in a forever house, like, you'd want a master bath pretty much. We don't have that. It's so annoying. Our closet is also really tiny. I got clothes. She's got hella clothes. I got hella shoes. I got dumb shoes. She's got dumb shoes. Like, we need closet space. We don't have a lot of other junk. I'm not super materialistic with a lot of things, but like, I just have a lot of clothes. I have a lot of shoes, and then like my office. That's pretty much it. We need a bigger closet. So our house does not clean it. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Ashley. This is much better. I love that. Yeah, this might be a regular thing. I don't have this many stories that'll go this long, but the house one is definitely a fucking adventure. So we are in this house, decided we were pretty much stuck sitting at like the price point we were at, like whatever our mortgage is for, like, in our debt to income at the time, me not working and being unemployed and back and forth of being employed and working in a bullshit warehouse and then delivering dead people beds and fucking Ubering and whatever else. Like, it just was crazy. So we decided to just like chill and just hang out. Wait till that next episode. Ashley, you'll especially appreciate that because it has to do with like lenders and stuff in the real estate market. I'm gonna fuck a lender up. Union Home Mortgage, you better fucking watch yourself. Anyway, wait till the next episode. I feel like Dr. Dre. So, so we decided that we were stuck at our house. The mortgage amount we had was just like, we were in a spot where it was just like, we're just going to sit here and fucking eat it for a little while. We're going to have to sell the house and take a bath. Like, it sucked no matter what we did. So then we were like, hey, Brandon, there's this brand new townhouse development going up in Dillsburg. You get to like spec build your townhouse. Like, it's pretty preset. You get to like pick the finishing touches. You get to pick your flooring, you get to pick your paint, you get to pick your switches, like do all that shit. But like, you can't be changing bedrooms around and make this one bigger, change that closet, do this, do that. And so we looked at it and we were like, if we do that, we're going to save like, $100,000 or so or more, actually, what we thought we were going to save. We were like, when looking at the price of like these townhouses starting at the mid whatevers, and we were like, that, like, take our house minus that, like, that puts us back in a good spot. Let's suck it up. Let's go to a townhouse for a little bit, use the extra money to save up, buy the plot of land, build a house, and then rent that townhouse out. Like, this is brilliant. So we put the offer in. We walk the house with Brandon. We put the offer in. We decide we're going to buy it. I think we may have almost put the deposit down or did put a deposit down, and it was refundable. We were committed. We were 100% committed. We were so committed that we listed our house and allowed showings to start happening. So Kayla and I, having Oakley and Luna at the time, 265 fucking pound pit bulls, needed to let people in our house for showings. So Kayla and I walked down to the park behind our house, watching people walk through our house on our camera. This one lady still sticks with me to this day because, like, our house is clean. Like, it's not fucking beautiful, but it's not a shithole. We have dogs and children. She's walking through, and I just heard her look at her husband, and she walks through my basement, like, by the back door where I smoke weed and shit. And she's, like, by the back door and looks at him and goes, it's really nice, but it just looks like they live in it pretty hard. And I was like, bitch. Like, I was sitting down at the park watching this on the table. Kelly and I both were like, I'm not selling it to her. Fuck her. Like, she's not buying my house. I was like, I don't even want to sell it to her. I'm not selling it at all anymore. Fuck that townhouse. I was coming to the deposit check while canceling 27 showings on radio. Yeah, that's right. You were on your way here. Yeah. So yeah, we committed, had a couple showings at Ridge Hill. We were spectating them. While we were spectating showings, Kayla and I hung up, did a quick crunch of numbers that we didn't like. We did the original crunch and we're like, oh, we're gonna save like 125K. Let's rock with it. Did another crunch after like the little design center meeting where it was like you can do this paint and this finish and that like upped the price a little bit. So we ended up just getting like more and more and more and more close to our original house price. So now we're about to build a townhouse, have to sell our house, pay closing costs twice, move, not have our own yard, not be in a single family home, be in a new brand new townhouse, but not be in our house. So like, are we really saving that much? And then when we did the calculation, I was like, we're gonna save like a few $100 a month on our mortgage. Like, this is not fucking worth it. Like, what are we doing? So we literally called Brandon. I said, there are people walking in my house right now, and I know you're on your way to us to get the check for the townhouse, but we got to cancel. I was like, there's no point in doing this. And I was like, we're going to just back out and wait, go back to the other original plan of finding land or keeping our house until we pay it down and sell it and do whatever. So we went all the way through with committing, putting it almost a down payment, a non-refundable down payment on a townhouse in Dillsburg because we were going to downgrade from our single family home to a townhouse that was brand new. So it'd be a slight upgrade. And then, oh my God. Yeah, that was, yes. Sorry, Brandon. Hey, look, we closed. We closed. We're done now. We can't fuck with you anymore. But yeah, so good job catching that down. I can't wait to. If Kaylee's not, Kaylee, if you're watching, please let me know. But if not, if she's probably already sleeping, I can't wait to tell her about that tomorrow. Like, hey, Brandon pointed out in the live video that we forgot entirely about that fucking townhouse we committed to, right, Kelly? So again, imagine Kaylee being the one to contact him. I was like, you can't do this. I was like, you can't do this to this man. Like, I know him. We have mutual friends. We have underworld friends. Like, I can't have you having him hate me because you're shitting on him. I was like, I need you to give this man some space. And now I suffocate him myself, but it's always a much lesser percentage of what you would get otherwise. So yes, and now if we go back forward to travel nursing, this is where like it all how much to run me over with my tours. $10. Why am I running you over with your tour? Oh no. Hi, John. That means you're not in a good mood. John just lost the Super Bowl, everybody. I'm so sorry, buddy. We love you. You're our favorite Madden player. Hold on here. I got you. I'm just kidding. My keyboard doesn't work. Um, if anybody's watching, click on that page I just tagged and go follow it. He's a trooper too. But yeah, Brandon's the best. He's the best realtor in the game. You can't have him because if you take him away from my needs, then like we have a problem. Um, oh yeah, we're getting yeah. We still owe him some dinner. We got him a little gift, little tiny, little tiny moment of celebration, little gift basket, if you will. But yeah, you deserved a lot more. First of all, your motherfucking check at Garmin at UHM. But yeah, aside from that, yeah, we're gonna get some dinner and some shit. We're gonna have lots of dinner nights at the new house too. That's the exciting part. So, but yeah, so we get through all that. Yeah, Brandon's been a fucking trooper through this whole thing. But again, I've saved him a lot of headache by deleting his number out of my wife's phone. That saved his life. Um, so yeah, so we're back to travel. She's travel nursing right away. We see the income. It's basically like guaranteed, like you know what you're getting. It's a quite an English. She got a promotion essentially to be like a travel nurse instead of like a staff nurse is what they call it, I guess. So right away we're like, fuck it, let's get out of this situation. Let's get out of our house. Let's sell it. We're gonna lose a little bit, but let's take that loss and morph it into a different house, and then like kind of pay it off over time, but in a house that we actually enjoy. We have a walk-in closet. We have a master bathroom, like with an actual shower. Like it doesn't have to be immaculate, but like let's get a better house than what we have now that fits two boys, two dogs, and two cats. And at this point, Oakley had been rehomed because he kept fucking biting Luna, but now we have Kane, and then Izzy ran away, Biggles passed away, and then we got two more cats. So we still have two kids, two dogs, two cats. That's the fucking zoo that I deal with on the daily. So Kaylee's on the neighborhood kick, and she's like, "Hey, your cousin lives near this place in Carlisle. Let's check out this neighborhood. It's lovely. They're doing spec builds. You can kind of customize, but not really. It's like here's the floor plan. Make that room a little bit bigger. Make that room bigger. But like that's it. Go fuck yourself on other stuff. Like you can't edit everything." So we're like, okay. it was Burke's Homes in Carlisle. They're great. Jason Kwan is the guy that we dealt with. Quon, Jayson. Jason, he is amazing. Like if you want to do anything with a seller's agent on their end, first of all, you call Brandon. Brandon will call Jason for you, but Jason's great. Um, Jason hooked us up. We sat with him. We went through the whole design process. We basically helped like quickly design a brand new house. Um, and it was like, okay, cool, like this is what we want to do, like a real brief design. And then we did like the application for the financing, and then right away they were like, you've traveled near us for 5 minutes, bro, you can't do this, like you need to go the fuck home. And so we were like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like we thought because she was a nurse for so long, they would take her income as like always being a nurse, and then that the increase in income would just be like whatever, no big deal. And they were like, no, that's not fucking how that works, you need to prove that shit over time. So we were like, okay, cool. So at this point, yeah, Burks, she wasn't traveling long enough. I just got to West Shore home. I fucking hate my life. The place is awful. Mac is born, a couple months old. Joe's like a year and a half at this point. It is December of 2020, and I go to West Shore home to work. In December of 2021, after going through Jason Kwan for Burke's Homes and building that house and then telling us we wouldn't travel long enough, we were like, all right, let's go home and just chill and wait a little bit, save up some money. I started West Shore Home, worked there for a year. December of 2021, we decide to get a construction loan for this house. Like we're going to build at Burke's or whatever it was, whatever we were doing at the time. So I call in to Members First Mortgage and I apply for a construction loan to get this house like spec built essentially. Thankfully, I get a call from somebody that was like, "Hey, why don't you call me directly? Like, what the hell's up?" And I was like, "Yeah, six houses later." I can't believe it was only six. There was many more. That's what they were. Kayla and I were sitting up there, and I was like, "Remember that house with this?" And she was like, "No." And she was like, "Remember that one with like the shed to the left and had like the little mobile home thing attached to like the back right of it?" And that guy came outside, and I was like, "No, what the fuck are you talking about?" And she was like, "Yeah, we met that lady there, and like she had that red car." And I was like, "No, what the fuck are you talking about?" And I was like, "Was this before Brandon?" And any of the ones that were before you, I was like, I don't remember any of that shit. I was like, I remember the very first one we had where we tried to put in like a cash offer and didn't know what we were doing and what that meant, and like had no clue what we were doing. But then after that, like we let you handle everything. So I was like, I don't remember any of the other ones before Brandon. But yeah, so I go from West Shore Home. I'm working there. I call in. I apply for a construction loan at Members First, which is where like I would wanted to have worked, but just kind of didn't go back after I left in 2018. I went to West Shore Home and worked all those little bullshit jobs. So I apply for a construction loan and I get a call that's like, "Hey, why the hell didn't you call me directly?" And I was like, "Hello, who is this?" And they were like, "Hey, you know me from years ago. We used to work on stuff together. I'm in Members First Mortgage Department now. Like, I recognize the name and I called you right away. What can I help you with?" And I was like, "Oh, cool. We're building a house. I need a construction loan. Let's run through this shit." And then they're like, "Hey, really wish you were looking for a job because we're hiring right now." And I was like, "I really wish you would have fucking said that sooner because I'm on my lunch break right now and I want to drive off a cliff instead of going back to the office. So please hire me." And so I immediately got a job with them back in the mortgage department of Members First. So I got to do that for a little bit this year, January of 2022 to like July of 2022. So in January, we skipped out on Berks then. Kaylee said, "Nope, I want to be in Cumberland Valley." We decide to look at this property on Clouser Road, back by Williams Grove Speedway, the same one we looked at years ago and told the guy to go fuck himself basically because not the guy, but like the HOA was just ridiculous. So we decided to go back to that property without her dad. The 5 lots that were originally there were sold. Phase 1 is done. They're now on phase 2. There's a whole bunch of lots for sale. We're first up, first dibs. We can pick whichever lot we want. We're ready to rock. So I call in, I get that construction loan situated. Everything's cool. December of 2021, heading into January of 2022, we were quoted a 3.125% interest rate going into this construction loan. So 3.125 is a beautiful number to be at if you know anything about mortgage rates because they are currently at like 7 and some change. Um, we are locked in right now. The settlement we posted yesterday, we're locked in at like 7.125. So we have more than doubled our interest rate in a year. And that's like tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest paid over 30 years of the mortgage. It's disgusting. Like we have more than doubled. So we have every intention of refinancing and doing some other shit inside. Like we know what we got into, and like the rate hopefully will drop. And if it doesn't, like we can afford it without the rate dropping. But like that was a whole thing too. The interest rate this past year has been a fucking nightmare because every time it goes up, it fucks with your debt to income, and then you got to kind of respond to that and react, and it's crazy. So, but yeah, so we go to Clouser Road. We get approved for the construction loan. Everything's cool. We decide that we are going to buy the 6 acre lot, the biggest of the lots that was available in the phase two. Happens to be right next to somebody that we knew from high school. They built the last house of phase one, so they would have been our neighbor. So we were like, oh, cool, somebody we know next door. Like, that's great. This is awesome. This is where we're going to be. It's in Cumberland Valley. It's in Monroe. It's where we wanted. It's near White Rock Acres, which is where we first met Brandon at. Like, it's all Monroe Township, which is where I wanted to be. Like, I wanted to be out in the country. No local police stations. Just one of the state cops out there lurking, and that was it, but whatever. So we decided to build on Clouser Road in Mechanicsburg by the Williams Grove Speedway. We purchase, and then so you have two options. You can either do a construction loan, which is like sending out draws and all that shit. It sends out like 5 different checks to the builder. As they complete this much, they get a check for that, and then they complete this much, and they get a check for that. Make sure that they do the work appropriately. Make sure that they don't run off with the money. Make sure that the bank has the money. Like, works out. The other option is doing a 2-step close, which means you go in and you buy the lot, like you buy the property itself, then you own it, and then you put extra money down that builder pays. I don't remember what I said. I already don't remember what I said. But yes, you put extra money down basically to buy the lot itself. You own the property, and then you'll close again to like buy the house and do all that good stuff. So we were like, the listing agent was difficult to work with in a way. So we were like, let's do the lot closing so that we can buy the property. We own the land. What could go wrong? Get the listing Clouser Road paid. Oh yeah, yeah, good times. So we decided that like Clouser Road was it. Like that was gonna be the future house. We went all out on designing the house. We got so the listing agent was a little bit difficult to work with. So we worked with Brandon. We were like, let's do the 2 close. Let's close twice. Let's pay closing costs twice. Like whatever. Like let's just fucking get this done with. Let's do the lot closing so we can get him out of our hair. I don't think you send stars here. You can send Best Buy gift cards. Prince of Nigeria stuff. You send me 5,000, I'll send you 4,000 back right away. I'll send you 8,000 back. I mean, so we do the 1 close. We do the 2-step close. We close on the lot to get the guy out of the way. Like we wanted the listing agent done. Now it's just between us, our realtor, and the builder. Like let's design this fucking house. So it's like early 2022, and like we're rocking and rolling. Kaylee's traveling, so like in between traveling, she's home. She works 6 days on the road, home for 8 days, on the road for 6, home for 8. So like during the home for 8, it was like grind time. Like we were printing out blueprints and floor plans and drawing lines and figuring shit out. We were on the phone. She leaves, and like I'm trying to middleman stuff between the builder, the realtor, her. Like it just was a lot trying to get shit done. But like this was it. We took everything into consideration. We had the dog bath built in. We had our first floor full bath built in. We had a first floor bedroom attached to that bath in case we get old, or in case we get old, when we get old, if we're still there, or if somebody breaks a hip or tears an ACL, like we could accommodate people there. We put the dude, yeah, it's crazy, man. Good for you though. If you built the land straight up and then you're getting permits yourself, like if you're doing the general contracting yourself, as long as you have the fucking time and effort to be able to commit to it, good for you. That's coming up. But I took a job demotion to be able to just be a part of this process, and then I know more than the typical consumer does with real estate. So like I try to work with Brandon and we try to do shit as much as I can to not put things on him. Like I try to make all the phone calls I can without bugging him, and like it has just been like, even without that, it's been fucking impossible. There's no way I could have been working a 9 to 5 that wouldn't let me pick up my phone. So in July, I stepped back to work part-time. Since then, I've been part-time since July, just so that I have 2 or 3 days off a week, just to be making phone calls all fucking day, running around doing whatever, while Brennan's also running around doing whatever, making phone calls. Like it has been absolute fucking chaos to do. But yeah, so yeah, good for you, man. I wish you the very best of luck. But yeah, actually, yeah, people break a hip, tear an ACL, break an ankle, whatever. You don't want to go up and down the steps then. So we had laundry on the second floor, but had a hookup for laundry on the first floor just in case we get old faster than we think or we both break a hip and we want to move the washer and dryer downstairs. Like, I had hot water spigots on the outside for the hot tub or for a grill. Like, we had literally everything thought of, and we were at like our max budget. Like, we knew what we were doing. We knew we were going all out, and like we were going to build this house on 6 acres, and that was it. Like, we were gonna fucking die there. We weren't gonna have land to give it to the kids or split off or subdivide or whatever. But like, this house was our retirement essentially. Like, we were gonna buy it, pay for it, build it, and then just fucking live there until we died or sold it or whatever. So we hours, hours and hours and hours and hours of design center appointments and talking through things, hundreds of emails back and forth, nitpicking this, changing outlets, moving that, moving this, asking if they can do a heated driveway, asking if they can custom do this, asking if the custom dog bath, the custom water thing for the dog so that we don't have to change like a water thing. It just has like a little spout for the dog. You just turn, it drops into a pot. Like, everything that you could think of for like convenience sake or that you see on TikTok for like, don't forget this when you build a house. I have a fucking checklist that's a book and everything was hit. So we were so excited for this house. The only con of Clouser Road was that it had an HOA, being 6 acres. It still had an HOA, and it wasn't quite like fuck you land. Like, we didn't have 100, like we didn't have 15 acres that like you could surround yourself with trees, have a house with a mowed yard, and no one can see or hear you. We would have had some privacy, but like, I couldn't have been doing 4-wheeler rides at 4 a.m. with the Roman candle in my hand that I was talking about. Like, somebody would have complained. And again, it had an HOA. So like, the only real con to that is that it wasn't like fuck you land, but like, we paid out of pocket to an engineer to redraw the plans for the lot to move the house back farther, because the 6 acres was like a long rectangle instead of being like a nice big square. It was a super long rectangle. So your house sits facing the road, and there's like a little bit of space on each side. And again, we knew the neighbors over here, and they have a little bit of space, and then on the other side, it's enough space. When I say a little bit, like, it's enough. You'd have been fine. Like, a tree and a fence could have went up, and then your driveway, the house, area for a yard, fence, next lot. Like, you had plenty of room. But like, for me, it was just stupid that we were paying for 6 acres and it was this weird ass long rectangle instead of a nice big square that's like usable yard. So we paid a few $1,000s to have the shit re-engineered and moved back so that the stormwater, the wastewater, the sewage thing, the fucking whatever else goes into all that shit, the electric, the driveway, all that shit. We moved the house from 75 feet back to 250 feet. So we did 175 feet back the lot. So we went from like, and the lot is like, let's say it's this fucking long. They had the house sitting here right along the road. So we wanted it back like way back here. So when you're driving by the road and you look, like the house was like way back on the hill, everyone else in the neighborhood is like right up on the road. Like, you're driving through and it's just like house, 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 house. Every one of the houses has like 5 acre backyards. I cannot for the life of me see what the fuck the point of that is. I was like, put me back a little bit, give me some space away from the road. Like, I don't need a big front yard, but I don't want my entire backyard just farther than the eye can see pretty much. Like, I gotta walk like a mile to get to the back of the fucking yard. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. So I was like, let's put the house back as far as we can so that we can have some privacy. We'll be looking in other people's backyards from our front yard, but then like, no one's looking in our backyard. Like, we're the farthest house back. Everything's great. So, for example of how committed we were, we paid that out of pocket, a few $1,000s to this engineer to come in and work with the listing agent and the builder and make sure everybody was cool and that, and we're going to do this, and everybody was on board with it. So when we start making design changes, the builder knows that we moved the house back and we're changing the side of the driveway was on the right, but we wanted it on the left because of the way the wind comes. Like, everything you could think of we had done with this house. We then get to a point where it was probably the night. I think it was 2 nights before. I think it was a Wednesday night before a Friday that we were supposed to go in for that second closing. We had already bought the land. So we own the land. Like, we purchased the land for however much, like 100 whatever thousand it was for the land. Like, we own the land. We're paying on that right now. At that point, we just have to finish designing the house so that they know exactly how much it's going to cost. They're going to total it up, and then we sign off on the other part and send the mortgage for the whole thing, and then we start paying on that while we work on selling our house. Because I have 2 kids, 2 cats, 2 dogs, and a wife, I can't sell my house and go rent an apartment for a month or go to my mother-in-law's with my fucking circus and be like, hey, we're here. Sorry about the holes in the wall from everybody. Like, I don't have anywhere to go until that house was built. So we would have had to technically sell our house in this special type of loan where you agree to the purchaser, the new buyer, to rent the house back to them. So we would have sold our house sometime last year in like March or April or whatever. Our house wouldn't have been done until like August or September. And we would have had to sell our house. Like somebody else would have purchased our house, and then they would have had to stay living with their parents or living in an apartment paying rent or living with a buddy on the couch or whatever while we were waiting for our house to be built so that we could conveniently and easily move into the new house and let them fill in and come into our house. So it's like a rent back thing, and then they own it, but you're paying them rent for the mortgage and like it's ugly. It's fucking terrible. And so like we were like, this is chaos. Like we're gonna like this is gonna be stressful as fuck just trying to get into the house by itself, like let alone like the building that we just got done doing the hours and hours and fucking hours of phone calls and emails and meetings that we did to design everything. Backsplash, paint, countertops, cabinet type, cabinet shape, cabinet door handle shape, doorknob shape, door color, siding color, soffit colors, fucking shutter color, every goddamn thing you could think of. The first floor back, everything that we did, we went all out in the basement. We did an extra water heater so no one had cold water. We did everything we could think of. Had it all done. And then like 2 nights before closing, we were sitting there and we were just like, are we making the right decision? Like, is this the right move to do? Because it's a lot of money. It is at the the extra stone on the front. Fuck you, Brandon. They have the dumbass rules in the HOA that's like X amount of square footage on the front of your home. They work with the builder, the listing agent that makes up the rules works with a handful of builders. So we were like, hey, we're going to use one of your builders to save some headache. Let's just do somebody that already knows the job and knows what to do. They built some other houses down the street. They're going to build our house. It's going to be fucking great. So we go to them and we're like, hey, design this shit. Dude turns me the designs. I'm like, great, fucking awesome, love it. They come back and they're like, you don't have enough square footage of stone on the front of your house. You have too much siding and too much soffit. You have 211 square feet. You need 225. So we have to go back and meet this dude. And he's like, you want to put 4 square feet over here, like on the garage, like a little bit of stone here. And we can like maybe fill a little stone over here. Or like, do you want to raise the whole house up a whole foot? It'll be like $30,000, but like then you'll hit your stone minimum. And we were like, dude, no, fucking no. Like, we don't want any of that to happen. Like, just please don't do that. Like, just make the stone work to get us to the minimums and get us through. Like, we've now designed everything that we want to the max of our fucking budget. We have to sell our house. We have to potentially sell Joe at an auction. Like, we are at the absolute top of our budget, but it was everything we wanted. We knew what we were getting into, and it was like, this is going to be our house forever. We're hosting everything, Christmas, the VMAs, fucking the Music Choice Awards, Teen Bop, all that shit. Like everything's happening in our house because we had the room and the space and the hookups for everything. So like everything was gonna happen. So 2 nights before closing, we were like, "Is this the right decision? Let's reach out to the neighbor that we know from high school." So we were like, "Hey, us again." We only had one conversation. They were like, "Hey, heard you're moving in next to us. Like that's super exciting. Can't wait. Good luck. Talk to you then." So we reached out. We were like, "Hey," and it's like 11 o'clock at night on like a Wednesday night before closing on Friday. And we were like, "Hey, like, can we bother you with like some quick questions? Like, do you mind?" And dude, fucking, I was thinking of the Nickelodeon like slime shit coming down in the living room at that house, and I'd be like, "It's fine because I have a dustpan in the bottom of the kitchen. Like, watch this shit. Boop, boop, boop," and it would have just like swept it up, and then the heated driveway, all would have just driven right out, no snow. It'd been fucking great. Everything with that fucking house, like that house, I still have the plans upstairs because someday I'm gonna build that house, but not on that fucking land. That's the plan. So we message friend from high school and we're like, hey, we're getting ready to settle on Friday. Yay, congrats, fucking woo. And she was like, yay, congrats. And we were like, hey, can we ask you some real fucking questions real quick? And we were like, how's the HOA? Like, and then Kaylee sends the message and we're sitting there and I'm like, I bet she comes back and is like, I haven't even talked to them, haven't heard of them. As soon as you build and you're done, they're out of the way. They just want to make sure that the houses are nice, that they match the neighborhood, that you're not going to have cars in the front yard and 37 chickens running around. You have 2 chickens and 1 cow, and that's it. No horses. Like, they just want to keep shit consistent. And I was like, all right, cool. So, like, that's what Kayla and I are thinking. Immediately, girl responds back, oh, they're a fucking nightmare. They were terrible during the building process. They're up your ass all the time. And then they basically explain the situation where, you're, like I said earlier, you can't have a pool in your backyard between October and April. You can have it between April and October, but you can't have that plastic blue pool behind your house, be on the side or behind of your house, even if it's on a deck, between October and April. So if I've got a penguin that I want to go outside and go swimming in the winter, I'm not fucking allowed. It's got to be in my basement or an otter or whatever bullshit. So they were like, it's a nightmare. One of the other rules they have is no RVs, no boats, no campers, no trucks, no additional vehicles parked in your driveway. It has to be parked inside of a garage that's detached, that has the same siding, the same stone square footage, and the same fucking roofing as the house. So you got to build a little fucking house for your vehicles if you want a vehicle. So if you're buying an RV, you got to build a fucking house for it. So I was like, okay, that's crazy too. I can't even put like a steel building up or a pole building, a carport, nothing. Nope, fuck me. Cool, great, love it. So our friends have a boat, and they one time decided to bring their boat home on a Saturday afternoon to clean it, get it prepped to go out on the lake on Sunday. They brought it home Saturday afternoon, start prepping it, start cleaning it, dinner, bed. Wake up on Sunday, getting ready to go out to the lake. The HOA calls and is like, hey, you can't store boats in your driveway. That shouldn't be there. Oh, what? It was just there yesterday, and you're calling me on a Sunday? Like, you're calling me on the Lord's Day? Like, I got football today, and I got weed to smoke, and you're calling me today to tell me to move my boat? And I literally, Kaylee read that message out loud to me, and I was sitting at the island, and I was like, I'll go to jail. Like, if somebody calls me on a Sunday and is like, put that Roman candle away, like, you better send me some fucking certified mail on Wednesday. Like, do not call my cell and be like, hey, it's me. Can't have that candle out there. Put that shit out. Like, eat a bag of dicks. Come see me. Click. Like, whoever called, tell them to come over. I would be so devastated to like bring my boat home and clean it, or the RV, or park somebody's friend's cars parked in the road, and then getting that dumbass letter. So literally like 2 nights before we fucking closed, we were like, fuck this, let's back out. Like, we own the land, but we don't own the house that they're about to build, but they haven't broke ground yet. So we have to sell the land to somebody else who has to go through like this process of getting approved through the builder. Like, you can't just buy the land. You have to agree that you're going to use one of their builders, or you're going to bring a builder that they inspect, and all. Like, we had to jump through hoops to start. We should have known better. So we back out 2 days before closing of Clouser Road. So the property that we posted on Instagram, where Kaylee and I are standing there next to the property, and we were like, hey, dream house, dream land, dream fucking everything. Like, this is what we wanted to do. We then decided, fuck that, because the HOA was going to kill it for us. And now we were faced with either selling it to somebody else, or the sellers like force us to sell it back to them, which was fine, but we would probably lose money in the fees and like the closing costs and commissions and shit like that. Like, we'd lose a few grand, plus the $5,000 we gave the engineer to move the house back to 250 feet off the fucking roadway, and the stormwater remanagement that we paid the township $500 for. Like, everything that we paid for, because we were fucking committed. Like, I all but bought a new shovel for the house and a new thermostat. Like, I all but bought everything for the new house. And then just literally 2 nights before closing, and then they would have broke ground the following week, we just were like, nah, fuck this, we're not doing it. Like, the HOA killed it. One Facebook message from that friend from high school, and she was like, don't do it, this is crazy. And we were like, oh, cool, we're out, thanks, that's all we needed. Yeah, John, come. Yeah, dude, it was sick. Is Dane talking about looking at another house? No, April, I'm just recapping. I'm just telling people what you've been through. If you guys can send stars, send them to Brandon and April. Send them to April. So we back out of Clouser Road. So the house we posted on Instagram, we did not build. We bought the land. We called Brandon and we said, hey, literally it was worth it. That's what we talked about, Chrissy. It was like, how much are we going to lose down the road when we spend all this money to build the house, live there, and then have to sell it as a used house? And like we're going to take a fucking wash there. Like, let's just lose a few grand now. I called the engineer and was like, hey, that check's cleared. that's you have that money, right, bro? He was like, yeah, why? What do you want? And I was like, I mean, like, it doesn't come back if we don't build, right? And he was like, no, I drew those plans up. I fucking paid all the fees. Like, you paid it. And I was like, yep. Mm-hmm. No, that's what I thought. Okay, all right, bye. Like, so yeah, that money was just gone. So like, then Kayla and I were like, okay, now what do we do? But it was like, fuck it. That's going to save us so much headache in the long run. Let's just lose that bread now. Get out of here. So we bail on Clouds. I called Brandon and I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We're not doing that because it's a nightmare. And Brandon hits me, God bless his soul, with the, I'm your realtor and I'm just here to support you guys and doing what you do, and whatever you want to do, I'm going to make it happen. And I know he hung up in like fucking fisticuffs to brick wall. Like, I'm so sorry. But yeah, so we decided to bail from that because it was just chaos. We immediately bailed from that. As soon as we bailed from that, we were like, all right, what's the next step? We go back into that tornado of we need a single family home, 4 bed, 2 bath. No. We need 5 acres. We're gonna build. No. Let's find a house with land on it. We're gonna tear the land down and then rebuild that and live in a camper while we do it. No. Today I convinced Kaylee that we're gonna get. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to finish this. It might be like, I mean, I'm kind of almost done, but we still have a good bit of shit to go over. Numbers first needs me in the morning. It's only 11:30. Ashley, grow up. So we decided back out of Clouser. We sell the land back. We lose a few thousand there too. So we lost the money for the engineer. We lost the money to sell the land back, but the land is no longer ours. Now we sold it back to the listing agent. They own it. We're free and clear. That's why we didn't post anything about this current house, because we were like, what if we buy the land again and then back out again? Like, we're too crazy. We've been in and out. We've almost put the offer in on the townhouse in Dillsburg and then backed out of that. We've listed our house 2 other times where Brandon got pictures, went to go list it, and then I texted him and was like, take that listing down. I might need a nipple for this beer. I forgot about it. I've been talking too much. Good call. And luckily, I'm in the basement, and the basement stays cold, so my beers stay freezing. I even have a backup beer that I brought down. That one's a little warm. I'm probably going to swap that out with one from the fridge, but ultimately it's not bad. They stay pretty cold because it's fucking freezing down here. Yes, we back out of Clouser, sell that. We lose the money on selling the property back, but it's all fine and dandy there. We're good. And then we decide we're back into the tornado. Yeah, Dean talked too much there. That's why I'm here. Everyone wanted it. This is what happens. Everyone asked for it. started getting the Facebook messages and the snap responses. Everyone always responds to the snaps and is like, "You need to start a fucking podcast, dude." So here we are. Yeah, this is first unscripted. Hey, Kev Dog, what is up, my guy? Finally closed on the house. That's what. Got like January, February. We have literally 2 months from today is the expected finish date. 2/23/2022 is, or 2023. 2/23/23 is the expected finish date. But yes, we're back in. Yeah, we're back in the whirlwind of what do we want to do next. We want to get a house. We want to get land. We want to do an RV. Like, what can we do here? And at this point, yeah, we have 2 kids, 2 dogs, 2 cats. Yeah, for sure, man. You're always welcome to come. Pizza and beer and dabs. And you got to try the new device, dude. I got that new Hire device, the G Pen. It's like a brick. It's insane. You got to come try it. And Rand, Damon, and Jaden all hit it and went, that felt like my first dab. Like, it's so clean and it's so fucking good. Yeah, so we back out of Clouser, we go back in, we can't figure out what we want to do, and then we decide we're gonna go back to Burke's Homes in Carlisle. So that guy Jason Kwan we built the house with originally, and he said, "Hey, you haven't been traveling long enough." Kaylee was like, "Let's just do that. I want to build a new house. I want to get back into a neighborhood. I'm tired of bouncing back and forth. This sucks. Let's just get into a house." And so I was like, "All right, like whatever. Like if that's what you want to do, like let's do it. Like let's sell out and go to the house back in Carlisle. Would have been Bowling Springs School District, I think, or whatever." And she was okay with that. So we were like, "All right, let's do it." So then we decided to do that. We go through the design process, picked out the knobs, picked out the handles, picked out all that shit, got the final price for the house, everything. Had it built, picked out a lot, walked the lot, driveway this side, driveway that side, garage facing this way. Like we had everything fucking figured out for this house too. It was in Morgan Crossing, I think is what it's called in Carlisle. I think that's what it's called. Had everything figured out. We get home, we do our island discussion, standing over the island. Kayla and I are talking about it, and I can just see it in her fucking face. And I was like, "What is going on?" And I was like, "You're not writing that check tomorrow, are you?" I was like, "I know we're not. Like, I can just feel it." And she was like, "I don't know. Like, should we be in CV?" And I was like, "Dude, like, we gotta figure this out one way or another. Like, do we want to do Common Valley or not?" And then like, I've also been volleying for homeschool with like staying home with the kids and stuff. And I was like, let's fucking just homeschool our kids. You're travel nursing. I'll get a job working remotely. We can just travel wherever and I can homeschool them. Like, as much of an idiot as I am, sometimes I was okay at schooling. I didn't try, but I knew what I was doing. And so I felt like I could homeschool. So we were like, that could be a thing too. Let's do homeschooling. So does the school district even matter? And then Kaylee was like, yeah, no, that sounds like a good idea. School district doesn't matter anymore. Fuck it. Let's just go wherever. Pull the trigger on Morgan's Crossing. And I was like, all right, cool. Literally the next morning, she was like, I don't know. I think I want to be in CV. And I was like, dude. So we canceled that one. Then we called Brandon and we're like, hey, we're just going to stay in our house. We're going to do an addition or something. We're going to figure something out so we can live here because we want to stay in CV. We'll keep you in the loop. We're going to find something eventually. We'll be in touch in the next few months. literally like the next fucking day, the day after, Kaylee gets an email about this property in Camp Hill that's still Cumberland Valley School District, but it's a house and it has a pool and it's in a neighborhood with no fucking yard whatsoever, but it's got a pool. And so we were like, let's go take a look at it. So we drive by, it's right behind like Creekview and all that shit. And we were like, okay, this is sweet. It's central to everything. It's like a half a mile from the Caddy Shack, like the golf course and shit from Armitage. So I was like, oh, I can walk. Like I could easily walk to. Oh, Brandon's the fucking man. I try. That's why I literally just randomly all the time. I'm like, hey, if you guys need a realtor, use Brandon. Like I'm the best lead management ever. I better. Like my entire family tree, my sister and her boyfriend, when they're ready, they're gonna use Brandon. My kid, like he's got our business for life. Like that. That's solidified. Um, so we go and look at this property. I think it was Tunbridge or something like that. It's in Camp Hill. It's Cumberland Valley School District. Kayla and I go and look at his house, and we were like, "Oh, it's amazing. We gotta have it. It's got a pool." And then it like we got home and it dawned on us. We were like, if we build like this new townhouse or this new duplex or a new house, like we're waiting like 6 months from this point in time, and we already hate our house. We don't have the bathroom. We don't have the closet. Like, do we want to live here for that much longer and not have what we want? Whereas if we just build, or if we buy something relatively new, we still get an upgrade. We get to move in, I don't know, 30 days from now, maybe 20 if we can speed up closing. We get out of our house. We don't have to worry about the rent back option. Everything's ready day one. Like, let's just do that. So we fully committed to Tunbridge Lane, I think is what it was, a house in Camp Hill, and we put an offer in well over asking price, and they came back and we got outbid, and they told him like, don't tell them this, like you're not supposed to know, but like they got outbid by like 5 grand, and we overbid by like 40, I think it was, or 30 or something like that. Brandon, if you're here, correct me if I'm wrong, but we were well over the asking price. We were like, this is fucking solid. There's no way they're going to say no to this. And they came back and they're like, we took another offer. They had 5 grand more in all cash, not a loan. And we were like, oh, fuck that, dude. Like, we don't have that kind of money in cash. Like, we at least need a loan. Like, good for them, bro. Like, happy for them. If they can buy that shit in cash, good for them. So somebody else bought that house. And so now we're back to fucking square one again. Back to the house. Do we want to do CV? Do we want to not? Do we want to build? Do we want to not? Do we want a neighborhood? Do we want to not? Do we want acreage? Do we want to not? Chaos. 2 kids, 2 cats, 2 dogs screaming in the background while her and I are trying to figure this the fuck out. So then we're like, why don't we stay here and do the addition? Let's build an addition on our house. Let's blow out the back wall of the master bedroom, extend the basement a little bit, build it up. We'll add a master closet that's accessible for both of us. We'll add a master bedroom or master bathroom. We'll make Joe's room a little bit bigger so he has a walk-in closet because he's oldest by fucking 20 minutes, but he's the oldest. We'll give him the walk in, and then Matt can have the extra bedroom downstairs because the closet I use in this office down here is our extra clothes from upstairs, and then we'll be able to put those up there, and Matt can use this one. Like, kind of worked out. We're like, all right, whatever. Like, let's see how much it is to do that. So we have a bunch of quotes done to see how much it is to get an addition. I was posting on Facebook about that. Like, who do we recommend for contracting and all that shit? First of all, it's hard as fuck to get a contractor that you trust. B, if you do get one that you trust, they're booked out for 6 months, and then it's going to be twice as much as it used to be. So we called like 3 or 4 reputable contractors who all at the time, this is June-ish probably this year, 2022. We're calling all these contractors to be like, hey, blow out a wall, put in some shit, do this. One of the guys comes in and is like, okay, cool, yeah, we should be able to do this. It'll take a couple weeks, blah, blah, blah. Where are you guys going to live during the time? And I was like, the fuck you mean where am I going to live? I'm going to live in my house, bro. Like, I'll live in a different room, like, knock the shit off. And he was like, no, because, like, the dogs and da-da-da-da, like, you guys would have to be, like, in the basement, like, live down there. And I was like, no, like, that's the whole point of this. Like, I can't move 2 kids, 2 cats, 2 dogs, and a wife that's home every other week into the basement. Like, that's not going to work either. Like, that's going to be chaos for fucking a month. Like, that's not going to happen. And you're booked out for 6 months. You're talking 7 months from today. I'm not going to have this. And then I was like, we might as well just build a fucking house. And she was like, well, what if we put a second story on our house? Because it's a ranch house with a walkout basement. What if we just build up? Like my dad said, like square footage and building up and blah, 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 blah. Like that's the way to go. Which it all is at building, not once you already have a fucking roof on, because they're not going to just lift the roof up and build underneath it. They're going to tear the roof off, build up, and then put a fucking new roof on or reuse or whatever. But it was just like, yet again, the money that we would have spent on an addition or a second story, plus what our house is worth, minus what we would have lost in the appraisal value, we should have just bought another house anyway. Like we were upgrading, but not really for what the money was. Like we weren't getting our bang for our buck for putting an addition on our current house. So as soon as I got that through to her, and the one guy came in and was like, well, if I tear the roof off to put a second story on, where are you guys going to live? And we were like, okay, no, I'm trying to go out of my way to not have to move 2 kids, 2 cats, 2 dogs. I'm going to need whatever to work with that and figure that out. So all that back and forth, we then finally decided, let's go back. We then decided, let's go back to building a new home. Let's wait a little bit, just deal with it here. Let's find a neighborhood. Let's build a new home like the one in Carlisle, but Cumberland Valley School District. So now we're looking at new neighborhoods, Cumberland Valley School District only. That's it. And that's all we needed. So Kaylee found one where it was. I can't even read my own fucking line, my own writing. Kaylee found the neighborhood that we're currently building in, and it basically just like popped up. Yeah, like this. Sorry, I was trying to read my fucking notes and I really couldn't even read it. Yes, we sold that land back. We were all good. We were looking around, and then oh, I see why my notes curled around. I fucked myself up there. Yeah, we found the current neighborhood that we're in. We found that in like June or July-ish, basically then. So we looked at a couple other houses after we lost the offer on the other one. We got the quotes for upgrading our house and decided we couldn't do that. That just didn't make sense. So then we decided to switch and just go ahead and do the new build or do whatever. So we switched to looking for neighborhoods in Cumberland Valley. Kaylee found a couple. We kept going up in price and up in price, and like the land was down. So we were paying nearly what we were going to pay for the Clouser Road house for a fucking dream house. June 12th. Look at you searching emails. Love that. Unless you just know that by heart, in which case I feel really bad. So we then were looking for just like dream neighborhood essentially because we weren't building the dream house anymore. But now some of these neighborhoods for a half an acre, you're going to end up paying what we would have paid to just be in the dream house on a dreamish lot minus the HOA and fuck you land. It just like wasn't worth it. Like there's a neighborhood near our house right now, still would have been near my in-laws, but like it just like the prices, it was like there's no fucking way you guys are out of your mind. Like I'm just not spending money and not getting a bang for my buck essentially. Like I didn't want my money to be worth it whenever like I wanted to appraise essentially. In some of those neighborhoods it was just like there's no fucking way that it's gonna hold out like that. So we finally found the neighborhood that we're in now, and we think that it's just slightly cheaper. It's the base prices were just slightly cheaper than some of the other neighborhoods because it's still Cumberland Valley, but it's a Carlisle address. So because it has a Carlisle address instead of Mechanicsburg, I'm assuming that's just like the tag, like whatever. It's just like a cheaper cost. So that's essentially where we're at now. And then the only things that went crazy there is that we've reached out to Garmin in June and we're like, hey, Garmin's the company building the current home, that we reached out to them and we're like, hey, we're going to be the easiest, best buyers you have ever. Like, we are going to be such a breeze. We just got done designing a house on Clouser Road. We just got done designing a house for Morgan Crossing in Carlisle. We already know what we're doing. We've been doing this for fucking 10 years now, essentially. Like, Kaylee and I know what we want from each other. Like, we know how this house should look, and like we've been on the same page since we were in high school. Like, we want to build, we know what it should look like. Just get us to the table and let's move along. And so like for design center, they're like, well, here's what I think. We have, 100 options for doors. Here's the three I think. And we were like, no, 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 just let us see the option. And they were like, no, that's kind of overwhelming. Look at all 100. And we were like, dude, we've done this multiple times. Give me all the options you have for everything. Like, send me your packet for doors. Send me your packet for cabinets. Like, we will look through and we will get back to you. And the lady was like, okay, all right, yeah, no, that's fair. Like, if you guys just want to fucking do it like that, like, that's cool. Like, do your thing. You guys read through, give me the codes of what you need, like, and we'll be cool. So we were like, cool, we're gonna breeze through this shit. No problems at all. So we are committed to this neighborhood. It's in Cumberland Valley. It's a new build. It's an oak. It's like a half-acre lot, but it's like whatever. We basically are looking at saving enough money to keep our house and rent it out. So that goes back to the thing of not having to move into an apartment or move into my in-laws or rent our house out to the people that buy our house and have it like we got to rent it from them. And if we can keep our house, we get to get approved for the new house. New house gets built. We move in as we fucking want to per week, per month if I need it. And then I list my house for sale or I list it for rent. Like we get to keep our house based on our debt to income. Like we get to hold on to our house and go into the other house and everything's smooth. With that being said, we had a little bit more wiggle room that we could afford to look back into the rental properties, which is the whole point of this whole thing, was that if we go from Clouser and the dream build and absolutely maxing out our budget, having to sell our current home and not having any wiggle room for anything afterwards, it was like, why don't we just still build a new house, still upgrade, get in a new situation so we have somewhere to be long term in case things don't work out rental wise. But if they do work out rental wise, like this house will be fine. It could turn into another rental or we sell that one or whatever. So we were just like that, like let's just get through this build. It's gonna be no easy breezy, beautiful, no problem. We're pre-approved. Like let's do this. Let's get it built, move in, sell our house or rent it out. Everything's cool. So the whole point was to get done, get closed as soon as possible, and buy another property by the end of 2022. We wanted to close on our house that we just announced closing yesterday, back early as fuck. Like we wanted to be done in like August, and so that way like it just was out of the way. That's unrealistic because there's nothing that could have been done for that. But we wanted to be done by like October 1st, and then immediately just turn our focus to okay, that house is being built. Let's start looking at rentals somewhere fucking warm so that we can stay there in the summer and Airbnb it out and whatever, and have a spot to go and something that's making us like a little bit of income on the side. So we decided to do that. So by going from Clouser to the new neighborhood that we're building in, we saved enough that we could keep our house and also buy another property. It wouldn't be fantastic. It's gonna be like a little condo or whatever, but it's somewhere to stay in the warm area. That we were gonna do that. So, and this is where like the other video comes in. Like the housing news is pretty much coming to an end because we announced us closing yesterday. The lender that we used made the entire process 1,000 times harder than it needed to be. And I have to watch my terms. But in the final hour, the other party is involved also didn't make it the easiest it could be, and it has been a fucking nightmare. But the lender, Union Home Mortgage, Union Home Mortgage, the local branch I believe is in Dillsburg. Very easy to Google, very easy to find. We'll be receiving a full video review from your boy, from yours truly, here soon. And I've got notes way longer than this fucking shit. That is literally going to be like a 2 hour review for them. Purely about the lending review and how amazing our realtor is and how shitty this fucking lender was. Union Home Mortgage. If one of you guys is out there watching right now, you better be fucking ready. Get Don and Ralph on the phone and ready to go. But yeah, so the lender dragged everything out and fucked a whole bunch of shit up and made closing an absolute nightmare. So for the past few months, I went part-time in July thinking, let's bang this shit out, a month or two, get back to full-time by Christmas, be a normal fucking functioning part of society and have a full-time job by then, be good to go. I'm still part-time because we just finally got done. And even being part-time, I felt like the days I was at work, like we couldn't get shit done. Like it just was fucking chaos. So yeah, so closing got rescheduled. Kaylee gets paid with a stipend and base pay, and things there got mixed up. There was a lack of communication. There was incorrect amounts, inconsistent amounts, zero accountability. It was absolutely fucking crazy on Union Home's side. So that again, like that's going to be a good part of it. But the one good piece of closing yesterday, Brandon, I hope you're still there. So we were closing yesterday. Kaylee and I were running around all morning. We didn't have the documents ahead of time like we should have. Like we should have known days in advance what the check we needed to cut for. Like we needed a fucking 6-figure check to close on this shit and didn't have the number down to the penny of what we needed. You need a cashier's check, so you got to know the amount. You got to know who it's going to. We didn't have either. Like we didn't have that document yesterday. Thursday, kids are at daycare. We were going to go get breakfast in the morning at 8 a.m., get breakfast, come home, wrap presents, go to closing, come home, wrap presents. We go daycare, drop the kids off, realize we forgot a Christmas present. Excuse me. Got to run to Target, run back to daycare, drop the presents off, and then go home. Get home and realize right away that we should go back to the bank and have the check cut and ready to go because it's already like 9:30 now. And we should just go home, get her ID, go to the bank, and get the check cut. So we sit in the bank parking lot. We're sitting in the credit union parking lot for like a fucking hour waiting for documents. Brandon drives to the settlement office and says like, hey, oh wait, this is Wednesday. Was this on Wednesday? Okay, yeah, no, that was Wednesday. You drove there Wednesday too, but then Thursday we were talking to you. We were sitting at the bank. We were like, hey, what do we do? And then you were calling around, got the doc, sent the doc to us. We went in, got the check cut. We meet there at 11:30 and finally are closing. Because the way the morning went, we were supposed to go home, wrap presents. The other thing that we were supposed to remember was yesterday was our daycare pizza party. And guess who was bringing the fucking pizza? Yours truly. Our plan was wake up, drop the kids off at daycare, breakfast, Come home. Morning celebration with no kids in the house. Wrap presents. Go to closing. Drop pizza off because it was supposed to be dropped off at 12, but closing was at 11:30. So we were supposed to. I've held a doc before. Your doc is way prettier. Veiny doc. So we were supposed to drop pizza off on the way to closing because closing was at 11:30 and it was going to go over 12. And our daycare has, I don't know, 9 fucking screaming toddlers staring at her, waiting for pizza at noon on the dot. We totally forgot. 100% forgot. Ran around all morning, went to Target, got. Kaylee has a Doc Johnson right now. It's in the laundry room. Her and I played for it this year, and I beat her. Thank fuck. And AJ won this year. So we get to the closing office. We're sitting there. We're signing paperwork. And at like 12:05, Kaylee gets a text from the daycare saying a picture of all the kids sitting there in their fucking little tables waiting for pizza. And she literally looks at me. She said, "We forgot the pizza." And I was like, "Oh my God." And the guy's like, "All right, yeah, I'll be right back. I'm going to go make you guys some copies. I'll be back in 1 second." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So he gets up and walks away. Me, her, and Brandon are sitting at the table. And I was like, "We got to go like now. Like, I'm going to call the pizza in. We'll call the babysitter, tell her that we're late leaving closing. It'll be fine. It'll be like 20 minutes. Like, we'll be good." So I call the pizza in. I'm like, "Hey, I need 2 medium pizzas for a bunch of fucking screaming toddlers. Make that shit on the stat." Hang up with him. Come back in. Guy is not back in the room yet. He said, "I'll be right back. I just got to go check to see if we need this other document." So it was either we're leaving right now because we're all done, or he still needs another document that we got to sign. Can you get it? Yeah, I'll go get the doc then for you. So it's either you got to sign this other document and you're going to be here for another couple minutes and then I got to make copies of all that shit, or no, you already did everything. Here's your copy. Have a great fucking day. So I was like, hopefully he comes in and is like, "Have a great day. Let's run, drop this pizza off, take Brandon for a fucking celebratory drink." We are sitting there and the guy comes back in and sure enough, "You guys got to sign this other document. I'm still waiting on the figures to come through though. I don't have all the information. Can you guys just hang out?" "No, bro. I got to take fucking pizza to toddlers right now. And DoorDash says 55 minutes and I ain't got 55 minutes. It's like 10 minutes away. I got to get to the pizza and get there." Brandon, bless your fucking heart. Brandon is like, "Do you got to get pizza somewhere?" And I was like, "Yeah, to our daycare for a bunch of kids that are starving right now." And he was like, "Why don't I just go get the pizza? Then you guys stay here and sign docs." I am telling you, I've never been so fucking happy with service of a service person in my life. That was the best shit ever. Brandon literally left. Oh fuck, Brandon, I gotta send you money for Sal's. Don't let me forget to pay you for the pizza. Yeah, Brandon got up, left settlement, went to Sal's, picked up 2 pizzas, and dropped them off at our daycare so that everybody could eat and they were good while we stayed and signed docs. And then we went and met Brandon for drinks. But yeah, it was absolutely fucking crazy. We're finally closed. We own the house. We own the land. The house has drywall in it. I'm gonna start posting pictures and videos of the house itself and like the process of like how it's been put together and the time lapses of it. I've been over there pretty much every day taking pictures. I just like walk through 12,024.61 Venmo. It's fine. I'll tell Kaylee. I'm gonna go upstairs and just send it from her phone. She won't even know. She'll just wake up and be like, "Have you ever had any weird Venmo things in the middle of the night?" I'm like, no. I'm gonna make it like a smooth 15K though. That way you could come back. Yeah, Karma's well. Quite careful, John. Chill out. Karma didn't work too well for him yesterday because everybody else got paid, but Brandon's stupid ass. The lender was wrong about the product. The builder is potentially wrong about the payouts and the draw. Everything got fucked. We were closed. We own the house. The mortgage is in our name. We have to pay for it. It's ours. I've been over there walking around like I own the fucking thing all weekend, all past couple months. Oh yeah, and that's another huge part. I can't believe I even forgot that, Brandon. That was another massive part. So you're not supposed to close on it. You're not supposed to build a house before you're closed. Like we right now have only put like a few grand down as a deposit. I could just walk away. I have custom designed this house also. Not quite as much as Clouser, but I have like Ethernet ports in rooms for my Xbox and for TVs and streaming services. I have no phone jacks. We have outlets up top in the corners for security cameras. I have Ethernet ports on the outside of the house for external security cameras. I have a data rack in the basement. Like I've custom designed this home to fit what we want and what we're going to pay for. And we've only put a few grand down on it. So if I was just like, "Hey, fuck that house. Let's walk away. Let's go buy an RV. Let's move south." they would have built this house and have to sell to somebody else and would lose a shit ton of money. So typically, no builder in the world is going to build a house before they have the fucking money for it, unless they're building one of their own homes. That's just like, boom, A through Z, assemble that shit, no changes. Do it like the 5 houses down the street, build another. We're going to sell it. If somebody buys it, great. If not, we'll make it a model home, whatever. We customed ours, so they're like, you need to fucking pay for this shit. It's your house, which we're fine with. The lender kept fucking up, though. So we were supposed to close on October 28th. Friday, October 28th was our first close date. We were supposed to break ground Monday, October 31st, Halloween. Super excited, ready to close. Wednesday comes around, that first week, 26th or whatever. We don't have documents to close. The lender's fucking around. The underwriting's nowhere to be found. Brandon's bugging them. We're bugging them. Like, yeah, pizza for hungry tard. Dude, that's unmatched. That's why I even put it in the post yesterday. Kaylee and I were typing the post, and I was like, I got to make sure I mention Brandon's little stunt. He said, you want me to go get the pizza? And I was like, yes, I fucking do. That's amazing. So we're planning on closing October 28th. So like October 26th, Kaylee's like, where's our docs? Like, what do we got going on? Brandon and I are reaching out to the lender. We're like, hey, what's up? And they're like, well, we might not be ready yet. I was like, what the fuck do you mean you're not ready yet? We've been working on this shit since like July. Like, what are you not, what's not ready? Like, we have the same jobs. We haven't spent $100,000 on a fucking crack cocaine or on a horse. I haven't bought a lamb, but like, what's wrong that wasn't wrong in July that's now wrong in October? Like, let's wrap this shit up. So we can't close. They decide we can't close. If we can't close, they're not going to break ground. We're supposed to break ground October 31st, which would have given them enough time to do all the excavating and all the foundation type shit before it got too cold and the ice and the fucking ground being frozen and all that shit. It was like perfect timing for us to get built, get it sealed in. The winter, like right now, it's freezing fucking cold. They could get in and they could work and do shit on the inside with the heat, with the electric hooked up, with the drywall in, with the insulation in, so that they weren't doing siding in the middle of January. Like they were like, let's make this happen. That way the house is done in February. So we were like, all right, cool. So Wednesday comes around, no docs. Thursday comes around, Thursday the 27th of October, no documents, nothing's happening. What the fuck's going on? We were supposed to close tomorrow. I called off work for this. Like, what's up? Brandon can't get a hold of anybody. Everybody's like ghosting us. We get a hold of the lender, and they're like, oh, I don't know. Underwriting's not fucking answering. You need no mortgage. So then we're like, okay, well, I guess we're not closing tomorrow on 28th. That's fine, but that means that they're not going to fucking close on the 31st on Monday. So, like, that's annoying, I guess. Like, we wanted our house done. We're paying for it. We wanted to start building. We want shit to start rolling. Like, let's get it popping, pimping. So then Monday comes around, and I'm off work Monday because we're supposed to break ground. It's Halloween. Took the day off. So Kaylee and I are sitting there, dropped the kids off at daycare, come home. I'm sitting there. She says, I'm going to go get breakfast. I just sat down at the islands, took a fat dab, like 9 in the morning, day off. Torched, loving life, watching The Office. Just talked to Brandon and was like, hey, didn't close Friday. It's cool. Vibe check. Everybody's cool. Let's just figure out the next time we can close. They'll push the build back a week or two as long as we don't get bumped to like the end of the line. And now they're not going to start us until like January. Like as long as you're just telling me instead of digging on October 31st, they'll start digging on November 14th. Like that's fine. I'm cool with that. Like 2 weeks, like it's whatever. No big deal. We went back and looked at our original estimated build schedule, and it was estimated to start on November 14th. So we were like, oh shit, we were actually 15 days early building on Halloween, them basically digging the first hole on Halloween. We were actually early. So if we just don't mind that and we push it back 2 weeks, we're actually in the schedule we were. Everything's fine. Like we're right back to like in the starting point, like where we were. So like this is like however we want to do it, like it's cool. So talking to Brandon, he's like, all right, cool. You guys are super patient. Appreciate that. Our lender. Wow, you guys are amazing. Thanks so much for understanding. I'd be pissed if I were in your shoes. And I was like, it's whatever. Like we were supposed to build, just build the shit right. Make sure it's paid for. I'm content. It's not that big of a deal. Let's just get through it. I sit down, take a fat dab, watching The Office. Kaylee just walked out the door. Brandon calls back like an hour later and is like, are you sitting down? And I was like, yeah. Why? It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. And he was like, well, you have a basement. They're digging your house today. They started digging. They broke ground this morning. And I was like, what? Like, we wanted to be there. We wanted to take pictures. We wanted to meet people. We wanted to talk to people. We wanted to talk about the slant of the yard and we fix that. We're removing the grading. We're removing the fill too. Like, we had fucking questions and concerns and things we needed to talk about. And they just started digging. So we fucking sped over to the property. As soon as she got home, I was like, we got to go right now. They dug a hole. And she was like, what? And I was like, that could be a problem. But then we were like, actually, you know what? It's not a problem. Like, it's not a problem for us. We're cool. You built the house already. No problem. And then Brandon calls back again and is like, hey, the lender said that this could be an issue because it has something to do with land disturbance, that you've disturbed the land. So now some lenders won't give you a loan because you could maybe owe the builder money under the table and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, what the fuck do we do now? Like, they needed to sign some special agreement to get the land disturbance shit signed and blah, blah, blah. So basically, the builder fucked up and didn't know that we weren't closing and just like, all right, dig that hole. So we went over Halloween morning and there was a fucking giant ass hole dug. Like, our basement was getting dug out. And the rest of the week, they put in fill and excavated. Like, they put foundation in, concrete, basement walls, all that shit. So we weren't supposed to close and it ended up fucking closing on that day. So, like, that shit was crazy too. Like, it was just absolutely fucking nuts. But yeah, I am gonna give a full fucking review of just this house with the lending and how that shit all went down and how many times we got rescheduled and got fucked over because I need them to understand how pissed I am. And leaving the review is the only thing I can do. So, but yeah, that's it. If anybody made it through the whole thing, Chelsea or Christy or Ashley or Brittany or Eric, man, you guys are still here. That's really impressive. Thank you. I think that's all I got. I went through pretty much everything that we have. That's the only thing really now is just like our plans going forward is get into this fucking house here in February, early March. We should be moving in. We're not sure what we're going to do with this current house, if we're going to sell it, if we're going to rent it out. We know that our first step is to build or buy some kind of rental property somewhere tropical so that we have somewhere to stay and somewhere to be and visit and Airbnb out. So that's step one. So somewhere near Disney or somewhere near Miami or Siesta Key or something, like somewhere fun and tropical that we can have family and friends go and rent it and shit like that. Like that's our first step. And then the next step is either building or buying like a duplex around here or buying like a small business or something like that. Like we had looked at that Lube and Go that was for sale in Carlisle a couple years ago or like a year or two ago. And so it's shit like that that we, um, honestly, I'll let you do it for $100 just because you put the dollar sign in the right amount, in the right spot. But yeah, so plan now is pretty much just get into this house and we're starting to pack now. Like we're just getting kind of pre-packed and go. We're gonna go through Christmas, get shit cleaned up for Christmas, get the tree out of here, get everything packed up, all those goddamn presents unwrapped and boxed and put together, and batteries put and everything. And then from that point, just gonna grind and get packed up, get into the new house, and then start focusing on rentals or businesses of some sort. But yeah, so it's been absolutely fucking nuts. What is that? But yeah, that's like picking districts and shit. Like, yeah, we just lucked out and found this neighborhood in Cumberland Valley. So yeah, I think that's about it. See, I appreciate you, Eric, sticking by the whole time. John, thanks for hanging out. Alyssa, I see you in here lurking. But yeah, I might even do it tomorrow. I might pop out a video tomorrow for the lender review. There's a good chance that happens because I'm real salty about how that shit went down. I'm excited to shit on them. Um, I'm also probably gonna play Call of Duty here for a little bit, do a little action, a little duh. Um, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I also did. I'm gonna throw this out there because I was doing a little trial run, but I did a little unboxing video for like my smoking setup and stuff. So I'm gonna throw that link in this post in the bottom because I'm gonna post on my YouTube page. But I did like a full unboxing of my G Pen and the device that I use because again, every time I put it on Snapchat, people always are like, "What the fuck is that thing? How are you dabbing with no torch and all that good stuff?" So I'm gonna put that link in there too. But yeah, appreciate you guys all hanging out. Whoever's still here, whoever threw me a reaction, thank you. Yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna do it again. I said probably tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow, it's Christmas Eve. Maybe I'll take Christmas Eve off and I'll do it Monday. But coming soon is a fucking lender review of Union Home Mortgage. If you ever have a realtor or somebody say, I have a good lender, they're real Union Home Mortgage, stop what you're doing and give me a call and also tell them no. All right, well, that's it. I'm going to do some dabs. I'm going to go play Call of Duty. Appreciate y'all. Later.